Yo, 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 yo. What's good, my people? It's your boy Jason Gooner. And you know what time it is, people. It's another episode of Reasoning Time. It's episode 16. We are back in the building to discuss a lot of things, all to do with Jamaican football. Some of it on the field, some of it off the field. Yeah, I know. Wrong jersey. I have on a Dutch jersey today, people. I never put on the Reggae Boyz jersey. But yeah, people, we have jerseys. So that's why we are different jerseys today. Don't kill me, people. Don't kill me. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Young Cryptic, bless up yourself. Malik Depan Land. Yeah, man, I have just seen it. I've just seen the Instagram. So yes, we know that the detectives are out. You know, seeing what the players are up to. Is that time of year when you may get some hints based on players' Instagrams what's going on, if they're going to be a part of the Reggae Boyz team or not. Bless up, Drew Ross. Big up yourself in the building. Yeah, man. Bless up, Joseph Brown. As soon as you reach, you don't know, like the video, like the video, like the video. You can support the channel by sharing the content as well. A lot of you guys have your various groups that are inside, outside. Just share the content, make people know we're live. And of course, if you're new, please do subscribe. It's the only way you're going to drop a comment anyway. So if you want to be a part of the discussion, subscribe to the channel. Yes, that is it. That is it. That is it. And of course, another way to support people, we have a membership. You can join, become a member of the channel. People trying to grow the membership. That's another way to show your support to the channel. Keep it growing, keep it moving. Also, you can drop any comment in the form of a super chat. That's also another way you can support the channel. So all of those things out of the way, people. Like, share, subscribe, drop super chat, join, become a member of the channel, people. Those are all ways you can support. You know what I mean? So today's show, people, is jam-packed. So I want to get right into the discussion, no hitching. So first thing you'll see on there, death of opinions, people, death of opinions. Why we're saying that? We do know that there is a lawsuit looming over the YouTube space right now, because the footage that the defamatory statements are on is from a YouTube platform. So does that mean that we have to kill all our opinions on YouTube moving forward if we don't want to get sued? Are we all going to have to lawyer up people? That's what I want to know, right? Also, in that conversation, we saw one of the leading YouTubers in the space. Well, a few of them actually, because I saw Ryan mention it on his program. Then I saw JD speak about it a bit as well on his program. Two of the YouTubers in the space with the biggest subscriber bases, right? Waiting on the situation. And I have some words as well in terms of, the silence of YouTubers on the matter since the whole thing has come out. So I have some perspective on it as well that I will share today. We're going to start the program with that conversation. Then we're going to move into the JPL Semis. If you are subscribed to the channel, you may have seen I have put out a thumbnail for a watch along later. So I will be doing the second semifinal, Montego Bay hosting Mt Pleasant in the first leg of the semis. So yes, please drop a like on that video from now and tune in later for the live watch along. Haven't done many JPL watch alongs this season, but it's the final four, it's the semi-final. So say yes, let's watch some football with the people tonight. So that is already planned, and we will discuss the JPL semis a bit as well in the program today. And then the third topic today is going to be how the boys tackle the summer. And what I mean by that is, we have the Unity Cup, we have the World Cup qualifiers, we have the Gold Cup. I was thinking about it yesterday and saying, boy, we have to be realistic about this. Can we really expect to see all the players in all three competitions? Probably not. But I feel like if we're strategic, we can pick these teams in the right way so we get the maximum out of all three competitions, right? So I'm going to discuss that as well. And then to close off the show today, people will have to look at some form. How are the players playing? Which players are out of season? How did they end their season? Just going to feature a few players and definitely continue the discussion. And that will also lend itself to how we tackle the summer, because I think the Unity Cup can be, if utilized properly, can be a way to see potential players that can help us in the actual World Cup and Gold Cup. I don't think we should just look at it as a case where we're just putting a team together to go play. I think we should try to find, about 5 to 7 players that, potentially could come from this Unity Cup group, because I do think that there's space around the core of players to to find some other players in certain areas that we might need moving forward, right? So I'm going to talk about all those things in this episode. I see the people them are tuning in, so we're greatly appreciative of that. Big up to Joseph Brown, big up DJ Gigs, DNA Football, big up yourself, keep putting in the work, my brother. And Sean, big up yourself, the Surinamese in the building. No donkey of the week today. All my EPL content watchers, I have not given up on the EPL, even though my team can't win anymore, right? It's just a lot going on for me right now. And honestly, this is just what I wanted to do currently. What I'm going to do though, people, for all the EPL prediction people, I'm going to do a post in the community. And basically, that's where you will comment and drop your predictions for this week's games. You know, we have a game tomorrow, so we won't have a full preview show this week. But in the community tab, I will drop the results from last week, the winners, donkeys of the week, and also I will drop the preview thumbnail. And underneath there, all my participants, Duke, Red Skull, Hot Chili, all them Monday, Pristine, everybody that usually check in and do the predictions, you can do it in the community tab this week. So still gonna have the predictions, people just won't have the preview show. We'll forward though with a review show Monday. All right, so Monday night we'll drop a review show where we can do the results of the predictions. So that's how it's gonna go for the EPL this week, my people. All right. So yeah, let's get right into this program though. Sean, big up yourself, says proud of Julie. She will become a star. Yes, Sean, respect, bro. Sean must have seen my post about the tournament that Julie had. They did play a year up age group wise, and they still won the tournament. So yeah, we're very proud of her and her team. So big up to Juliana, my daughter, for getting that done. Also graduated from her gifted program yesterday. So yeah, man, beer things are going. Melsha Walker, big up yourself. Respect for tuning in. Boy, Knockins, so sorry that you got caught in the crossfire. Knockins, do not that issue stop you from doing interviews, bro. Keep pushing. We look forward to your interactions. So that's someone in support of Knockins just saying sorry that it kind of fall on you. In a way, I kind of feel that way as well. Like I don't really think he's a malicious person. Maybe a bit naive, but I wouldn't say he's malicious. Congratulations, Jason. Yeah, man. Congratulations to mom as well, because you don't know, it's a total team effort. Grandparents, uncles, aunts, everybody. So yeah, they are doing well though. So we're very proud of them for sure. All right, people. Let me get right into it now. So death of opinions, people. So why I said this. So the first thing, people, of course, by now, big up Conrad. Of course, by now you would know that Rudolph Speed has sued Craig Butler, and by extension as well named in the suit Knockins Media, right? Jordan from Knockins. And it stems from an interview, and it's alleged that there were defamatory comments made about Rudolph Speed, who is suing. And yeah, so now, they go to court, and DJ Geek said, oh no, I don't even get this sued madness. Well, look, it basically was an interview after a game. The interview length was extremely long for most interviews, because it went off into a conversation about Rudolph Speed and his influence as far as his posts in the JFF are concerned, and how that influences selections of youth teams and things of that nature. And specific players were mentioned, and specific instances where they were blocked from doing things because of decisions they made as far as representing Mr. Speed's club. So a lot of allegations were made in the interview. And most of the interviews, if you have watched after games, they typically talk about the football match that was played. Now, this particular one snowballed into a long thing. And I'm sure, as a content creator myself, we do in the moment probably have an idea of the things that are going to make for good content. And I'm sure in that moment, Knockins or Jordan himself would have thought, yo, this probably is going to hit. Because Craig Butler, obviously a controversial figure in Jamaican football, usually going to give some kind of soundbite that would lend itself to views and interaction and engagement and comments. So he's basically a creator's dream in terms of the type of content that he would bring. You know, because even though I'm sure some of us do this YouTube stuff for different reasons, some of us really and truly want to, you know, I don't know, I'm not going to speculate on what reasons people would do YouTube, but surely, you know, once you get to a level where you have a certain amount of subscribers and you realize that you can earn an income from it, you're lying to yourself if you say that, you know, you don't care at all about views and these things. You would not. You want to know that people are interested in what you have to say, and you want to bring content that you think people will want to watch and engage with. And I can assure you that when this was filmed, the video in question that's no longer out in the public, it's since been taken down. You know, he would have known that this is going to hit in terms of people wanting to see it and hear it and talk about it, and it's going to become a part of the conversation, right? So that's why I said that maybe he's a bit naive, not realizing the reach that the video might have. Now, my contention with the whole suing or of this particular thing is I don't think that the utterances made by Butler in that video, right? Maybe the names and characters would have been different, but the overall theme of what he was saying is something that I have heard Butler speak about on numerous platforms, not just on YouTube. Sportsmax, where else? Sportsmax, TVJ Center Circle, CVM, what's the football show? GPS, Football GPS. All these programs Butler has ever been on, if the topic of Rudolph Speed comes up, or the JFF in general, these are the type of ways that he speaks about them. They're conflicted, they're unprofessional, blah, blah, blah. And you can copy and paste and pretty much know what Butler's going to say when he talks about anything like this, right? So my question is, on all of these other platforms, why weren't those times what he's saying deemed defamatory, right? That's my first question. And my second question is it really and truly necessary in this case to name the YouTuber whose channel it would have been broadcast over, right? So those are my two main questions. One, what makes this particular time and moment and interview and comment, why are these particular ones defamatory and not all the 1,000 other ones that we have heard from Butler over the years, disparaging you in particular, Mr. Speed, right? What about this particular time? Why now, right? And two, is it totally necessary for the benefit of your case or to win the case to include Knockins Media in it? Because I feel like that is a bit far, personally. So those are my two main questions, people. But first, I got somehow, some way, some beating out of all of this, right? From Ryan, right? And I don't really understand what he's saying in terms of what the YouTubers are supposed to do in terms of a voice speaking up for Knockins, right? What exactly would we be able to do to improve his situation or help with the matter? Like, what can we do? I don't think we can really do anything publicly or like on our platforms. You know, I don't know what could really help the situation. At the end of the day, the lawsuit is filed. You know, he's just gonna have to have his day in court. So if we want to help him, I have some ideas of how we could, but I don't think none of it includes making YouTube content about it, you know, personally. But just so you guys aren't totally in the dark, I know a lot of you watch a lot of the programs, so you probably saw, if not all, a piece of what Ryan had to say. But I'm gonna show you Dre anyway that did clip and put out on his IG. So I'm gonna put this on here. Big up Ryan, big up Dre, big up all the content creator them. But you don't know, we make content so people are gonna have opinions on it. And I have one on this. So let me just play this for you guys first, and then I will have something to say. All right, so that was Ryan's sentiments about the whole thing, and my name never get called in that because I think that was mainly for those that are actually on the island. I know I got a call the other day and somebody was surprised that I don't live on the island, but no, I don't live on the island, so I wasn't involved in that. But earlier in the show, you had mentioned my name as well as like somebody who should be speaking up more in defense of Knockins, right? So. Large up Miss Melina, big up yourself. L Mix, check in, big up Jordan Hyman, yo, Guan. He put in fear in the man them, but they're not going to settle. This going to fight Mr. Speed. Yeah, I don't think he's going to settle either. Miss Melina, blessings again. Big up yourself, Miss Melina. Well, from watching Jamaica teams, it seems like Jamaica Cavaliers team most of the time to me. Okay. So he's like, it looks like a Jamaica/Cavaliers team. All right. The debate about freedom of expression versus reputational damage is crucial in cases like this. Very true. That is going to be the line that needs to be drawn, you know. Mr. Butler and Mr. Speed like up the video. Good question, JG. Yeah, those are my questions, bro. Those are my... Oh, you couldn't hear that? John O'Star. All right, let me play it again, people, because I just see Ryan run him out and actually had the phone off.
Unseen there. What?
Hold on, the people. Hold on.
Very Gooner there. Where all of the man them there were Knockins are bridging, bro. I'm in a year no. I make the video. I talk up for Knockins. Knockins, a man where I do interview. We go every JPL game. Supporting the JPL and all of them thing there. Oh, I see BAM Sports. Oh, I see all of the man them with our Jamaica will work with Knockins. Oh, I see when make the video in support and I say, hey, Speed, come on, man. Eh? Oh, I see. A joke thing on the depan, brother. A joke thing on the depan. What do you do? You're not going to make a man silent, you know? You're not going to make a man silent, you know, and bully the whole on the down there? Come on, bro.
Yeah, so since we never hear it, that is basically what he said, right? So I just feel like, bro, what are they meant to do? Honestly, they make a video and say, yo, Mr. Speed, or if I do that and da. What does that really do to help him? Honestly, I think, all right, you say they shouldn't be afraid. I agree they shouldn't be afraid because if they're doing things that they have researched on their own, right? They're not putting out any information that they're just making up. You know, they have done their checks and balances. Look, I did some research before the show about defamation in Jamaica. And one of the defenses of, because I didn't really care much about the Speed Butler part, because to me, them have to deal with them thing. Them a big man, they've been going back and forth for years. Them need to have them day in court, plus a day in the ring, plus just them need to just fight at this point. But as far I am more concerned with Knockins media because Gooner TV could easily be in the lawsuit. If I have an interview speaking about anything, and a man says something in the interview that whoever is talking about deems to be defamatory, my name could easily be in this. So what I wanted to check was, what defense does Knockins have in all of this? And based on what I read, people, there's a lot of ways that he could, a lot of things though, the party who's doing the suing would have to agree, right, to these things. But if he can prove that he had no knowledge of the damages that would come from the utterances made, then that's grounds for not dismissal, but that's grounds for more leniency, right? If he can prove that. So he has some defenses that he can go to that I think can protect him. And I would hope at this point he has seek the requisite legal counsel and stuff and made sure that, you know, his ducks are in a row, because it looks like this is definitely going to go to a courtroom, right? I don't see Speed backing down. I don't see Butler retracting the statements. So what I think is support to Knockins people, honestly, and I will ask Ryan this. Ryan, me coming onto this program or any program or on YouTube and just making up noise saying, yo, we defend your Knockins, yo, Knockins, you're my general, hopefully everything go. That don't do anything. What would have make more sense, Ryan, is if you want to support the man, or anybody who wants to support the man, you link him and say, yo, what you need, brother? Because he's going to need a lawyer. And the last time I checked, lawyers cost money, right? So what kind of support are we talking about here if you really want to support the man? No, I don't know the man from anything, you know. He's only someone that creates content similar to what I create. Not even that similar though, because he focused mostly on what's going on in the soil of Jamaica, which obviously I cannot be there doing that only. So I do a lot more than that. But at the same time, we might have topics that interject each other, because I'm talking about JPL semifinal. He will be at the JPL semifinal, I'm sure, doing the interviews and stuff. So in a way, we kind of link that way. But again, I don't know him, right? I don't know him. I'm sure some of the guys in Jamaica do know him. Now, if they are not reaching out to him behind the scenes, trying to help his matter in terms of like seeking legal help for him if he can't get it himself, or trying to point him in the right direction, then they're turning their backs on him, right? Furthermore, I see Knockins currently, right now, since the lawsuit has come out, at the games. I see his microphone there. I see him putting out the interview. So he's still doing the work. He's still doing what he's supposed to be doing. It hasn't stopped him from trying to continue and grow his brand, right? So again, support out here to the public just making up noise. I don't think that does anything. Nothing at all. You know what? You know what is the true thing that we need to be worried about in this whole situation? What happens out of that courtroom? Because if a precedent is set that anybody that comes on your platform and utters something, right, and the person they're talking about or the entity they're talking about sues for defamation and they win, right, and you, because they win that case against the person, you also lose against them. Now, what does that make YouTube become? Because you have freedom of speech, and somewhere in that line of freedom of speech, there's also just talking blatant rubbish about people or things, right? So where is the line? Where is the line? Some people think that if I say allegedly before saying madness, that's okay. I don't know if that's totally true, right? I see people in their descriptions on videos make sure to have a disclaimer saying anybody on the program who expresses any views is not the views of this program, blah, 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 blah. Now, I myself, I'm going to do some research and make sure I have something like that in my description, because clearly there's a lot of people out there that I see that have it. So they must have been advised to do so. I don't think that every YouTuber is a lawyer. So yeah, I think it's high time that I do something like that. Now, I might not have the most sensational content in the world, because I typically talk about things that have happened already and give my opinion on them. I've had a few interviews, but it's not an interview heavy platform, right? So I don't know if what I do could really land me in any hot water as far as this is concerned. But then again, I am opinionated on the platform, and I have had opinions about people on the platform. So look, as we go along, we learn and we try to research, and we get more knowledge about everything. But to me, Ryan, I respect you, I rate you, I think you definitely know how to run your channel the way you want to run it, and you have your supporters, right? And I'm someone that watches your program and comments. But bro, I don't really see what the benefit is, bro, of us all making a video about this. For what? What will it really do? What will it really do? Now, if it is that everyone in the space is now afraid to speak on people in the football because of this, then that's where I would agree with you, Ryan. Because that happened, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to speak about something that I see happen or is reported on because Mr. Speed's name is in it. So I just not want to. No, that's never going to happen. Never. Never. Because having an opinion on something that's already out publicly, that can't be a crime. That can't be a crime. I'm sorry. And as I said, you can't just come on and just make up things about people because that is grounds for defamation. But if you have an opinion on something that's already out there, right, and you don't add anything, you don't claim to know a fact more than anything, then, you know, it could be that way. It could be that way. But people, look, this to me is going to be something that I personally will be keeping track of because I think the precedent that is set here can greatly affect YouTube moving forward. And my hope is that people understand why this particular thing went where it went so that they can try to avoid that situation, and just familiarize yourselves more with it, because the more knowledgeable you are about something, the better you'll be able to do it. And my hope is that this whole situation at least makes the YouTubers realize, or anybody that creates content realize, you know, the repercussions in doing it without much knowledge of what you're doing, right? And I'm not throwing that at Knockins himself. I'm just saying in general, like, maybe we take for granted the power that these platforms can have. You know, you never know who is watching. Like the other day, I'm constantly shocked at who reaches out to me after shows from doing content. You know, you never know who is watching, bro. 59 of you in here. Who knows? I don't know all 59. All of you not talking in the comment section, so I don't know. Could be anybody in here. So the main thing is, if you're gonna do content, people, do a little research before you turn on the camera. Like, prepare a little bit. Don't just turn on the camera and start talking because you know you'll have people there. Try to bring something to the table that people can learn. You know, drive a discussion so that people can go and learn more after. You know, try to make the content about something, right? Try. I think that will help you to stay out of hot water, because if you're staying on topic and just making opinions on your topics, then you should be good to go. And those who are going to do interviews, try to keep things in line with what you're talking about. So the interview that I know is in question was an interview for a match that turned into a discussion about all kind of things. That's where you have to draw the line, you know, and then you had the power to edit it and do whatever. You know, you could have done a better job. You know, even if you're gonna say, okay, there's a post-match interview, well, put that out separately, and you know, you decide behind the scenes, are you gonna put out this video with all of this and disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. The views expressed on here is from the person being interviewed, not the interviewee. They are not the thoughts and expressions of, you know, Knockins Media, blah blah blah. You know, maybe that would have helped. Again, with the laws in Jamaica, it's a little different. I did look it up. It's a very, very long document, people. So I didn't really have time to look at every single thing. But what I did look at in this Defamation Act, and it's out there, people. You can put in Defamation Act of Jamaica. It's right there. It is right there. Yeah, so yeah, look, that's you want support or advice, bro. I'm sure you have probably done this on your own, or you have a lawyer doing it for you. But read up on this Defamation Act. There's literally a part of it that addresses your situation, Knockins, literally. So, you know, to me, this is the best help I could give you, bro. Trying to send you where to get the information to try to defend yourself. Defamation Act, it's out there. Just go look at it. There's a part that speaks directly to your situation in the case, bro. And I feel like inside there, I read some things that could help you out. So, yeah, I don't know you. Maybe the word will get around. I spoke about this. Somebody will clip it and send it to you. But bro, all the best to you. I am pulling for you in this case. I don't believe that you should be any kind of accessory to this. You are just giving a voice to a coach in the league, or what is he? Not a coach. Sorry, not a coach. Technical director, and the conversation just went haywire. Yeah, so it is what it is. Unseen peso, CC. Oh, CCC name I want to know. Them no want to get sued too. They're running scared. Peso coming out soon. Did the vlogger have a disclaimer? I don't think so. And I know that after being asked, after it was out, I don't know how long, I know it was taken down subsequently. So, but I don't believe that he puts disclaimers on his videos. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think he did for this one or period. Up, Jamrock, Wagwan. Is the defense the views shared are not those of Knockins? I see people take those steps in their content, so maybe. Blind cannot lead blind. Big up Telexta. Views expressed. Yeah, views expressed. Use cataract lawyer. She can help him out and give him a good deal. Who a cataract lawyer? Now he's on YouTube isn't real support to anyone, at least not tangible. Yeah, I don't see how. I mean, at surface level, just like putting out content, defending or like, backing him up, I guess is good. But like, it's, as you say, it's not really tangible, Bring on a lawyer, Jason, that can tell you more about the situation. Yeah, look, I was trying to talk to my my Jamaican legal counsel, but they are so busy. They're traveling, and I wanted to put out this content while I had the time. But Conrad, you are totally right. I need to bring on that person and let them talk about it, because the little knowledge I gained reading upon this about an hour before I started the program, I don't feel comfortable enough like trying to say what I think I understood from it. I don't think it will be a good conversation. So yes, I will get an expert to come and talk about this one day, because it matters to me. I need to talk to her about it for myself. The views expressed in this video are personal opinions and do not represent facts or verified information unless clearly stated. Yeah, look, that's helpful. I might need to take that script down and put it in my description for real. Many only act like they support in the public for people to see, but don't really care in silence. Yeah, that's true too. Big up that. Defamation is not simply about disliking what people may say about you. The communication must meet a certain standard to be considered defamatory. Yeah, that's true. Mr. Speed have them running. Michael Hall said, double check potentially defamatory communication against these questions. Were the words published to a third party? All right. Do the words refer to someone, whether directly or indirectly, even if a name is not mentioned? Is there a paragraph or description which identifies the person? All right. So these are some checks you can do, people, to see if you're going to say anything defamatory. I get Ryan's point. I think he's more saying that all YouTubers are quiet about it because Speed name is mentioned. So he's more saying why no one's saying anything. Okay, so it's not so much. So the way you interpret it, Max City, is it's not so much YouTubers defending Knockins. It's just why the silence, why people that make content not talking about it. Well, and I actually put this in the comment section while I was there. I said, well, to be honest, I spoke about the whole Butler Speed thing on my last program where I discussed, I don't really do much content. Like, I don't go every day like some people and put out content. I usually do one a week about all the stuff going on. So maybe that's why the timing just took too long for people to come up. But I was always planning to do something either yesterday or today to speak about this, But yeah, I guess in that sense I can understand Max City. Normally people talk about anything that's going on, and it seemed like no one was talking about this. So in that sense, I understand. Conrad said, enough man hide. Does the communication damage the person's reputation? Does it cause others to shun or avoid them or expose them to hatred, contempt, or ridicule? All right, so basically, Michael Hall is there telling you guys, what are the questions you need to ask yourself before you would defame someone or something. Cavs boss, may I beg you go easy with knockings there. You and Phoenix boss can do your thing. Go easy with knockings there. Yeah, Wells, I kind of feel like that too. CC still want to know why people are calling him name. Defamation is very, very difficult to prove. Yes, and we have to remember that in this case, the proving will have to be done by Rudolph's speed side. You have to prove that irreparable damage was done, and you have to prove that these things have hindered you in some way from earning or keeping your reputation intact, right? Which, as Michael Hall says there, it's very, very difficult to prove, right? Is Knockins trained in journalism? Well, those are questions for him. So he has his platform. You should ask him on the video that he does. I see him responding to people. So yeah, man, just look at any video that he's done, Nitro, and ask him. Because I couldn't tell you, and I don't want to speculate, I don't want to defame the man. I hope Speed win against Butler and they somehow take Knockins out of it. Butler makes too much loose talk and I find him very annoying. Yeah, I that's something I wanted to talk to my legal counsel about, because I wanted to see if that's something that's possible. Could they, because I was arguing that once the suit is the way it is, you can't really take off Knockins off of it. Like, it would have to be gone altogether. All right, I get in a call, people. It look like Ryan here semi live and calling in. So let's hear what Ryan have to say, people. Ryan, I'm going to shout you right back. Let me shout you back so that you're in the show. If I answer that way, it's going to be kind of difficult. So let me call you. Let me call you back, Ryan. So Ryan look like him a watch a show and him a talk. Him want to say something. So let me take the call real quick. Wait, let me know my have it on here. All right, see Ryan a call again there. Ryan, big up. Let me just make sure the people in the chat hearing you and everything. Can you guys hear Ryan? Just give me a thumbs up. Talk, Ryan.
Right, yes, sir. Bless myself, my brother. I'm actually leave work because kind of feel a little bit tired. You know what I mean? So I leave work and say, I'm going to take some sleep. I want to talk about the JPL tonight and thing. See? So I come on by YouTube, come like at the right time, come on by YouTube, we see all the video and thing. You have to talk about the whole incident and thing. And it's so looking at when we click on the thing, when I say, Ryan, then I say, well, I'm going to know, because you know, Jesse is not a man normally. Right. But Jesse, I just want to let you know, my brother, and the viewers and everyone, see, I want to put this out there, Jesse. I have a lot of respect for you over the years, how you go about things in the matter of the situation with following up on YouTube. You always have love and respect for me and what we do. You understand some of the stuff like that? I'm not really too normal Brooklyn people show, bro. Right? I just see the name, but don't say that you respect and always support me. I forward to make my voice heard. So basically, what I really say about the Knockins thing, I'm a content creator, a blazer man. It don't matter if me and a man a talk, and me and a man a friend. When I see wrong, I come talk up about it. I mean that. I'm not going to sit down and be a hypocrite. You understand? I give my opinion on every topic in a Jamaican football. I don't run from no topic. So what I try to say to you now, is just it's more about a content creator get caught in something that Knockins himself even aware about. This has gone on for years with Rudolph Speed and Craig Butler. And the man say, you know, leave Knockins out time, brother. And the two of them got the court because both parties say some nasty things about each other. So them go to court and we check it out. What everybody are bringing, why them are bringing up things tonight, no better. But you see, I'm going to say something, I'm not going to say something. All I'm going to say, bro, is why everybody's silent on the thing. It's not a make war and picking up style, but why everybody's silent about it. Everybody see the article. Most of these people see the article. They don't choose not to talk about it. Why? It's because of rude and speed.
So basically, if it was that Butler was suing somebody else, there would have been a lot of videos. That's what you think?
Of course.
Okay.
It would have been a lot of video about Butler, or even me in it, bro. You hear a lot of video about it, bro. You get to me, I say, because I'm friend and them look a corruption thing, everybody keep quiet about it, brother. Remember this thing, bro. Today is for you, and tomorrow is for somebody else, brother. You never know you cannot win this game, brother. True. You understand? True. And the man them still in Jamaica, and the man them. You know, never like this, brother. Everybody usually speak up. I don't say the people them go out and do it like how we do it, and disrespect people. You understand? I don't say everybody for do. Everybody have their own style and them different way, but everybody becomes a puppet to the system, brother. And that is my skill about the football. I'm telling you, Jason, whether what happened in this lawsuit or whatever happened, I'm telling you, bro, I got it done, brother. Everybody get quiet and everybody, got everybody watching the game. You know what? Jason, I'm going to say, bro, I'm going to beat nobody for saying, yo, wait, what can I say? See the topic, them, I won't know what to talk about them. And I beat talk about everybody in my video. I beat wrong. Me give it my opinion, and them speak and them afraid to talk about it because of them boss. It's what it is, man.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. You see that point when you just make a while ago about people quiet until them see you run out. You see when you do the video, Ryan, my bex, you know, because I say no matter what me do when me do my next reasoning time showing up, people are gonna say, I just show Ryan run out, Gooner even not say nothing about this, you know. But just the timing, brother. We couldn't do it just at the time when we could have do it, brother. You know? But you make a good point because me see videos made half a year video afterwards. Right? So if you notice in this video that I've done so far talking about it, I did play a clip from your video just for context. But I spoke to you and I spoke to everybody involved. Knockings, every other YouTuber. So it's not like a counteraction to anything you were saying. I just think that I don't know how effective, if them really want to defend Knockings in any way, us making a video now go defend him better. You know how I go defend him? Put some money upon him lawyer fee.
Yes, sir. May I tell you this, bro? Me no idiot, me no run come out and talk, nothing, bro. All of them been staying white from Knockings. And Knockings, me don't even talk to Knockings at different. No phone is the Knockings that we hear from Knockings. All of them, bro, stay white from Knockings, bro. All of a sudden, everybody stay white from Knockings. Eh?
Well, that's not right. That's not right.
But you see, I'm going to leave it alone. As I say, everybody make a video about it. Last time I come do my show, I leave about the Majestic, bro. Because guess what? Me already, you know when I know people, you know what I got,
yeah.
Everybody respond, bro.
Yeah.
They're just so organized to make it, bro. They're not real, bro. They're just not really a fake, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm going to go deep one day again. But no. I'm going to go deep on this. We know exactly why Speed do this, bro. This is not about man reputation, bro. We know exactly why Speed do. But
all right, left it there, so.
It's doing him thing, and I'm doing thing, brother. We will see, we follow the case and thing, but all me say, bro. You know the YouTube for them, brother. Only I want to put YouTube on that. Speed and Craig want to fight it out, brother. I would love to see them in a treat in a ring too. That would have been nice.
Yeah, that me say. They need to buckle it out after court. Just go outside and do a, you know. I forget where the boxing competition name, but they need to do it. But big up, Ryan. Respect for the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, that was Ryan LFC. You don't know Elite Sports. Definitely somebody in the space that blaze a lot of fire. And the views expressed by him on that phone call are his views, people. Not the views of Jason Gooner or Jason Gooner TV. All right, get that straight. Yeah, people. Let me go back to the comment section real fast. I have the scrolling on the bottom on the, I don't even know what to say. If Duke there, I'm gonna get a big Y. On the lower part or the lowest part of the screen, you will see scrolling some things. There's a phone number on there if you want to weigh in on anything that I've said so far or on this particular topic. I saw Peter Mystic asking, go ahead and call now. I want to leave some space in the show to talk about the JPL Semis. Might even skip that over since I'm going to be doing the show later and just move into the Reggae Boyz after that. But just depending on how the show running moving forward. But yeah, let me go back to the comment section because I saw some good comments in here while I was on the phone. Drew saying, agree with Father Hall. I think that's the key. He published it and didn't make it clear the claims aren't fact, and these and those of Mr. Butler, not channel. I think it's a lesson YouTubers need to learn. Yeah, JJ, I want to lean towards agreeing with all of this, but as I say, I'm going to seek the proper legal counsel and get back to you on all of these things. And maybe I'll do a YouTube education class, you know. CC get a lawyer, no one or a couple. Knockins need a good lawyer. I hope he has one. Yeah, that hopefully. Me not have time to waste, bro. Just asking you a question. All right. So CC still a war. That's why I have to rate Jason. I see how him forward and say what he thinks without adding fuel. Unseen run gun, do a video I call Ryan channel passa. That's disrespectful. Yeah, Max City, me not depend on that, bro. I mean, the truth is the truth, you know. So if me say a truth and it won't hurt somebody feeling, I say it go. But me not go just day after just burn out. Like it's not my thing. That are you taking calls? Yes, Peter. The calling number is there. If you're still around, you can't want to be viewed as legit media, but don't want the responsibilities of legit media. I think Speed has nothing against Knockins, but proving a point. It's more about Butler. Yeah, so and that's the thing that I have an issue with. If the point is truly about Butler, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like the collateral damage to the youth is not necessary, you know. Big up Luca Talks Ball. Yeah, man, I'm good, bro. Hope you're well. All right, we'll get our next call. This might be Peter.
Yes.
Welcome to Jason Gooner TV. Who is calling?
Peter Mystic, man.
Big up Peter.
Mystic, man. You know that tune there? I don't even stupid.
I do know that Peter Tosh. I do know that Peter Tosh. He was that song was immortalized by Grammy winner Kabaka Pyramid the other day. I don't know if you heard that version.
Oh really? No, I don't know that.
Yeah, man, you should listen to it. It's a big tune. But anyway, what would you like to add to the conversation?
Yeah. Some greetings. You hit the nail on the head. But before I get to that, you see, there's a saying, ignorance of the law is no excuse. In other words, you can be driving down the street and let's say you didn't see a sign that says stop, right? Or you didn't know that there should be a left turn at this point, right? You get pulled over. You cannot tell the cop that you didn't know, right? You are going to be charged. So coming back to this thing with Knockin, I understand what everybody's saying. I watch all of the content, but I like Knockin's content and everything, right? But I said this on a platform before. You guys, all of you guys that do this, have a responsibility, you know, to the public, you know. For instance, you know what? I don't want to get the channel of trouble, you know, just. let me just say this. No. Given the circumstance of this lawsuit, I have to be careful how I come on these platforms and say things because I don't want, just like how Knockins get himself in trouble, I don't want anybody else to get themselves in trouble. Because I have very strong statements, you know, especially about a certain person with the initial CB. Anybody that know me know I'm not a fan. And I will not sit there and pretend that I will not be a hypocrite. I am not a fan of that person. And the reason I don't say his name because I don't want to get your channel. That person has come. That person has come on these channels and slander and do whatever he wants to do with whoever. I mean, even the JPL, he has slandered the JPL, right? And that person is allowed to get away with it. So when I hear people like Ryan just come on and talk about if it was the other way around, it's nonsense, bullshit. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Because anybody, I have never seen, and I watch all of these platforms, I've never seen anybody treated with kids' gloves like how that person is treated. Now, I won't call this a speed name because I think I can do that, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
It's a speed on the other hand, right? And by the way, this is the views of Peter Mystic, not Jesse Gooner. Mr. Speed on the other hand is the person who gets the most criticism and the most berated on all of the channels by commenters and even the YouTubers, even some of the channels he appears on, right? So don't give me this foolishness about if it was the other way around, because that other person is treated with kids' gloves. Now, coming back to my initial point.
Now, Peter, hold on, before you continue, because on this whole topic of kid gloves and not kid gloves, do you think that it depends what platform you're watching to have that happen? Because I have been places... To
some extent. Yes.
Okay, as long as you acknowledge that. As long as you acknowledge that. All right.
To some extent.
All right,
yes.
Go on.
Yeah, but coming back now to what I said initially, YouTubers, you all have a responsibility. I have listened to these channels too many times and hear somebody just come and say something. And it could just be a person that, even like myself, that nobody don't know. And just come and say something about maybe a player or the GFF or some other circumstance. And instead of the YouTuber asking that person, where you get this information? They run with it. You understand? And so when you do that now, you propagate the problem. You guys have listeners, even though you might have 20% listen to you now, you're going to get a lot of views later. And some of you have hundreds of people listening to you real time. So you have a responsibility to the public so that when somebody comes on your platform, and especially if they're slandering or demeaning or saying something that is demeaning to someone else, you have to stop that person and say, look, where are you getting this information from? Use the word alleged, all of that stuff. And that's how you kind of protect yourself. So I'm coming back now to knock-ins. Knock-ins is an innocent, in a sense, bystander, right? However, knock-ins the ignorance of you not, and I'm coming back to your point now, Jason, where you hit the nail on the head. You said he had ample time to edit, to not show hear the broadcast, or to cut it, do whatever you could do, even during the interview, right? He had all those reasons. I mean, those tools, but he chooses to allow the broadcast. So now he is responsible because the platform is what allows people to hear the slander or the defamation. So you as a YouTuber, and make this be a lesson to all YouTubers, you guys have to sometimes verify, especially when somebody is going to demean somebody else on your channel. And so, like you said, Jason, it's not even so much this lawsuit, is what's going to become of it, right? After the decision is made. Yeah. Because it might end up muzzling a lot of you guys.
Yeah.
But again, once you have a listening audience, and I'm not talking to you, Jason, I'm talking about who other YouTubers listening, especially even Ryan, you have to show a little more responsibility. You cannot let somebody just come on your program, say what they want to say, and just run off, and you say, boy, I never know it. You cannot do that. You can get yourself in this problem. And so I don't have anything against knock-ins. I like his content, I watch his content. But I don't have anything against Speed doing the lawsuit, because I think what is happening here is Speed is trying to probably send a message, or maybe he can't even do the lawsuit on Butler without doing
that
Knockins lawsuit.
That part I want to talk to someone more in the know on the law, because I was thinking it had to be done that way, maybe.
I think so.
And if it's not so, then I would say, boy, Mr. Speed, come on. Like, this guy has not made, or I don't find this content to be malicious towards people in any way. So why is he getting caught up in this? So, but anyway, look, we're going to leave it there, Peter. Thanks for the calling.
He's getting caught up because his channel was the conduit for the information.
Yeah.
And so we have to be careful when we're on platforms like these, because we are a conduit for information going out to hundreds, thousands, and sometimes tens of thousands of people.
Absolutely.
Have to be responsible.
Absolutely.
All right, my brother.
All right, big up. Thanks for the call, Peter. Big up.
Yeah, man. Give time.
Yeah, so that was Peter Mystic giving his thoughts on the situation. Look, I will take a few more. If anybody else wants to call in, the number is scrolling down there. Just make sure it's a WhatsApp call. I'm trying to limit this to about 5 to 10 minutes a call. So, have your points ready if you have a point to make on this. And if not, we will just keep the show rolling after this. But look, it's a discussion that I think is important to me as someone who creates content. I think that, the lesson in all of this really and truly is take the craft more seriously, right? Realize the potential harms and pitfalls that you could face. And like I said, the more knowledgeable you are about whatever you're going to speak about, first of all, the less of a chance something like this can happen. Because at the end of the day, it seems like truth is what will set you free in all of these situations, right? So that's saying that we say the truth will set you free. Literally, it is literal in this field. Okay, so if you have truth behind what you're saying, then speak your mind, my friends. If not, just prepare to fight whatever you're saying in court, because it looks like that's the road that people are going to take these days, right? So I see some people having the discussion in the comment section, going back and forth with each other. Drew Rasta Peter is way too one-sided, needs to be more objective. Big up RR, one Gooners every time, my brother. Speed just a look at scapegoat. Yeah, I made a point earlier, I've heard slander, or what could be deemed as slander, from the same person being sued to the person doing the suing, and on other platforms, and I haven't seen this type of lawsuit. So the timing of it, and which medium he was on, is something that I think is important, because like I said, I've seen other programs on traditional media where disparaging comments have been made, and I haven't seen any defamation suit brought from those. So yeah, man, Dutch jersey today, Somebody vexed with me from earlier, said why me have on that jersey, the wrong jersey, but I never know, I have to wear a Jamaica jersey every time. Even though I think every time I've done one of these programs or any Jamaica related program, I usually have on a Jamaica something. So maybe that's why. So it's me set the precedent still. Travis said, all if unseen MG knockings in groups, so they have conversation about the matter. Ryan just love mix up. That's why him rush out, because CB is boy. Yeah, so we know, and I think that's to Drew's point, a lot of people in this space have their mind made up about people already. So no matter what the situation is, I'm gonna choose a certain side. What I try to do is remove any bias I might have, and just look at this situation in its own little bubble. But I think a lot of people in the space struggle to do that. So once they pick, say, yo, on my side this, even if they side the foolishness, them still are going to defend the foolishness. No. See, I have to know what you're doing, man. May I do a Jamaican stream. And even though it's a Dutch jersey, the man gone to Marky G thing. You see? Lord have mercy, people. I don't have nothing to do with neither one of them things there. All right? Yeah. I'm just a Jamaican. That's it. And a party affiliation. All right. So, look. It looks like people cool off. Nobody else calling in. That's good. So let's move on. I get that about Ryan, but might be defending CB, but it's disrespectful for Unseen, who Ryan has given his platform to call Ryan a passa station. Bless up that. Big up, big up, big up. Thanks for tuning in and taking in that part of the show. Can watch back the replay because we are going to some thoughts about the Reggae Boyz now, but maybe you're doing that strategically because you know you don't want a headache. I don't know. It could be strategic still. All right, so let's move on now, people. So let's go into my next topic, people. How Reggae Boyz tackle the summer. No, what am I talking about? Well, we know that coming up this summer, we have 3 sets of fixtures, let's call them, right? So the first set is going to be the Unity Cup. This is the tournament with Jamaica, Trinidad, Nigeria, and Ghana. It's going to be May 27th, Jamaica facing Trinidad, May 28th, Ghana, Nigeria. And the winners will face each other and the losers will face each other on the 31st, all at the GTEC Stadium at Brentford, right? Denial, delusion. Kudos to Speed for trying to clean up the cesspool. All right, football guru with his first entry of the day. Big up yourself. Travis Poster, you're right, bro. Everything could have been done off air. Yeah, that's true. Always defending CB. The man literally said him not care about CB and Speed should leave Knockins. Yeah, that's true, Young Cryptic. He's not even defending Butler at all. That I will agree with there. He's not defending Butler. He just don't understand why Knockins have to be drawn into the thing when it's the 2 man them have them beef from ever since, you know. But maybe Speed will tell us why he decided to go like this one day, you know, maybe. All right, so what do I mean by how the boys tackle the summer? So I have heard and we have read last week. I spoke about, you know, Mr. Ricketts making comments about the Unity Cup squad and how the bulk of it is going to look, or not the bulk of it, but a certain amount of players definitely will be looked at from the local side of things, from the JPL. And I just wanted to touch on, you know, players that I think could benefit from getting a look in at this Unity Cup, right? Players that either have been in Jamaica's team before or are not in Jamaica's team as yet, preferably playing in, you know, League One Championship, obviously not in the playoff contention. So you know, would have been not playing football since the weekend of May 3rd. Had a nice little break where they could, you know, not just be being thrown right back into football right away, right? And there's a couple of people that are out there right now that I would say are no-brainers in terms of that set of overseas-based players, whether they are, you know, it doesn't matter where they're born, I don't really care, but they're just not playing in Jamaica anymore, or never have for that matter. But they are available to play in this tournament due to when their seasons would have ended, right? So, you know, it's not a huge list of players, and I think it's a little bit difficult to come up with a list as well, because some of the players I would have in mind are players that have not represented us yet due to not having the requisite paperwork yet. So without the actual knowledge of them having them or not, I couldn't say definitively whether they could be in the team or not, right? Because we have learned that, you know, moving forward in this tournament, or for this tournament, it has been agreed that players will need to be, you know, eligible to play, meaning they have full paperwork, and, you know, if it was a World Cup qualifier, they could play in it, right? We're talking having all the paperwork done. Now, as far as from the championship, right, there are quite a few players that I think fall into that boat of, well, we're not really sure. We're not really sure if they have requisite paperwork or not. And then there are others in the championship that we know for sure have the paperwork. So let's first just talk about the ones that we know for sure have the paperwork, right? So one of the players that, and I'm going to base it off first and foremost, players that we know have paperwork, we know season finish, right? Let's look at those players first and try to see how many of these players do we have to actually choose from, right? And again, the reason why I titled this part of the video, How the Boys Tackle Summer, is it seems like some of us are a little bit unrealistic, even including myself. I want to see the best team play at all times, definitely. But I thought about it and I said, like, realistically, can we expect the players that we're going to use in both the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup to also play the Unity Cup, right? Is that really realistic? Is that really realistic? I don't know. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is. I just feel like you'd want to, I mean, maybe there's a few that do overlap all three, but I think that should be the case only if it's a player that maybe the coach didn't think was going to make it and he's kind of close and he just wants to see them in the Unity Cup games to see for sure, right? See for sure, right? So, but like I said, I think there are players that maybe this coach hasn't really looked at with his main team who may have represented before or who we actually just know for a fact have Jamaican paperwork and passport that are in the championship, right? So one of the first players that came to mind in the championship that has represented Jamaica before, not playing in the playoffs, out of season, could probably play, is this player right here. And don't be alarmed if you see the player and you don't think he's good or whatever the case. I'm literally just looking at them people, not saying they need to be picked. I just want to put people's minds into where these players and who we could pick. All right, so this is the first one. Represented the last Gold Cup for us, or it wasn't the Gold Cup, it was Copa America, sorry. And he's Wes Harding from Millwall. Now, Wes Harding had a rough go of it this year. Only played 8 times, a total of 8 times all season. This man's last fixture that he actually played in was all the way back on April the 18th, right? And it's just been a really rough go of it for him. You know, so based on that, people only making 5 appearances in the league out of 46 games, tough. And I'm telling you, a lot of these games, he's just on the bench. You know, so it's not even a case where he's just had this long injury over the season. You know, it just has not been in the coach's plans, none whatsoever. Millwall didn't get relegated, didn't make the playoff, you know, comfortably in the league this year, you know, not going down or anything. But Wes Harding, I think, it would be hard to argue Wes Harding to be called in, right? I know that we have had deficiencies at this position. You know, that right side, you know, it's really been Lembe Kisa as the only one that's been kind of consistent over there. You know, all the others we have played have been pretty inconsistent. You know, Tavan Gray. Who else have we seen over there? Tavan Gray, Wes Harding. Who are some other right backs we have seen? I'm not remembering many others, you know, man. Unity Cup squad being JPL is okay based on the amount of games. Okay. Trevor saying I go over catching all by 3. All right, that is nice. As I said earlier, people, I will be doing the second game tonight, live watch along. So if you are not at the game like Travis and you're watching it and you just want a vibes place for go and watch it, you don't know, we will be here doing that game. So yeah, Wes Harding, people, one of the first names I could think of in the championship, didn't make the playoff. But for me, I'm gonna say very difficult for me to see us adding him in just based on lack of game time. I mean, 8 appearances over the course of the season is just not enough for me. You know, definitely I think he needs to really figure out what his next move is, honestly, because it's clear that, you know, this current manager of his team that he's at doesn't really see him as a crucial part of the team. Let me see something. Wes Harding. Just curious to see how his deal is at the club, because if it was up to me, if I'm his agent, I'm talking to him about seeking other employment at this point. Why won't it tell me when his contract is up? Let's see. So no info on the contract expires. Don't know why. Currently valued at 1.2 mil. So look, he came to Millwall in 2023 from Rotherham. Was at Birmingham before that. Kind of came to the Birmingham system. So, you know, he's 28 years of age now. I would think he has probably one more decent deal to come. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Again, I'm not seeing any info as to when his contract expires, but I would think that he would be seeking some kind of different place to play, you know. But Wes Harding, that was one of the first names that I thought about in the championship, right? So when you go back to the championship, again, we're going to avoid the top 6 teams, basically. Well, we could look at Bristol and Coventry as well. So obviously, if we're talking about Coventry, we know that we have a player there. Now, this is a player that I would say is a part of the core for Jamaica. He's always in the squads if he's fit, and that's Joel Latibo there. But based on his output this season, you know, 46 games in the championship, he played 33 of them, 36 in total. But if you look at his most recent run of games, you know, he did end off the season playing pretty much the last 5 fixtures. But Frank Lampard was using him more sparingly towards the end of the season, right? And I think, you know, in the playoff, those 2 fixtures, you know, the 2 most important fixtures of the season for Coventry, Joel Latibo there was an unused substitute. So in order of like legs and fitness and all of that, I don't think it would be too much of a burden for him to be in this Unity Cup squad. And also, I think that this Unity Cup, when you look at them having the opportunity to play in front of their fans, or not their fans, but in front of their families in England, you know, obviously representing Jamaica, but obviously they are dual citizens. So, you know, I think that for some of these English-based players, the draw will be just being able to play in front of so much family in England, you know, and I feel like Latibo there is one of those guys that most Jamaicans know we don't have to really. I don't think we have to worry about any of them in terms of commitment. That's just me. But even the most I don't even know what to say. Even the Jamaican fan that just has this feeling that like the English-based or born players just can't put out the same effort as someone that was born in Jamaica. Surely Latibo there would be one of the players that they would say, well, but him, I think he does care, you know. So I believe that he's one of those that's definitely like a leader when it comes on to just, you know, he's always in the camps, he's always turning up early, you know, a lot of times as well. You've seen him using press conferences by the coach. I just think he has that personality of a leader, right? Even as a player on Coventry's team that sometimes is not always in the starting 11. It seems like when he does play, he sometimes wears the armband, and you know, he's still a leader in the team and the dressing room, right? So for me, even though I think he'll be in the World Cup squad and the Gold Cup squad, I think because he didn't overexert himself towards the end of the season, I would be totally okay picking Latibo there in the Unity Cup side. Also, I think he is one of those players that is a key bridge to these new players coming in and integrating with other players. So I think that Latibo there's presence in the Unity Cup for that reason alone could be helpful. And even if you want to limit his minutes, knowing that his load will be more down the road, that's fine. But I think as a squad member and to play, of course, a little bit, Joel Latibo there, from me, I would put him in the Unity Cup squad. ample time. Like I said, his last game played would have been the 3rd of May, the last game of the season. Didn't play in the 2 playoff matches. So I think it should be okay for Latibodir to be in the Unity Cup squad. You guys let me know if you think that is the right move as far as Joel in the Unity Cup squad. I've given my reasons as to why I think they should do it that way. Let me see if you guys agree with that. Check in, Richie. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Hope all is well, my bro. Yeah, go down a catching all tonight. That good, he don't play. A lot of players didn't play a lot this season. They're well rested and ready to play for us. I don't know if it's kind of good and bad, because you want them informed. Decent age. I thought he was older. Yeah, man, he's young, man. He's young. If you're talking about, I think you're talking about Latibodir and not Harding. Harding not old either, but Latibodir is only 25, yeah. Football guru, listen, I tell you, I put up players from if them play for us before. And on my list, I have Harding as a no. I just brought him to, because he's a part of the conversation from before. That's all. You just want to argue. I agree. I don't think we should go back for him either currently. All of us here because we love football, but we're limited to what we can tell a man to do or say. That is true. Charlton have a game today, right? Yeah, but I don't know if it's on Paramount, because it wasn't listed on SofaScore on Paramount. But even if it's not on Paramount, I will find it still. It won't be a problem. But I was thinking it would be on Paramount, but I didn't see it listed for some reason. But yeah, they play at 3, so I want to done the show before then for sure. Probably run it for another hour or so. Don't worry, the players we want are near in getting them papers soon. Jamaica football will be on the up shortly. That is good to hear, Travis. Big up, Issa. Big up. Is the game on YouTube? Which game? The Unity Cup game, then? Probably, yeah. I think it'll be on JFF Live. Just get your memberships from now. You're 16 subs away from 8,500. Yo, people, I'm gonna bless up Luca Talks Ball. Very good channel. I mean, definitely more about English football and stuff, but very knowledgeable. Good panel discussions too. So yeah, 8,500. I'm gonna give him a strength. Go over there and subscribe. Does Mason Holgate get another call up? That's definitely a player that's actually good segue because he's next, Mason Holgate. Now, Mason Holgate is one of those players that when he represented Jamaica finally, I think most people, well, I won't even say most people. Yeah, I'll say most people were excited to bring him in. There were some that looked at his, red card record, his time in the Premier League not being the best in terms of some of his performances, not being able to hold on a starting position in the Premier League also was something I heard as used against him. And then when he came and performed, I've never seen such a wide gap in terms of what people thought about performance. Some were saying, look, yes, he got the red card. His distribution was poor, but they also acknowledged that defensively, he was extremely strong. Others couldn't look past the long ball kickaways and the red card and said, listen, if that was Damian Lowe that made that performance, we'd be killing him, right? So he divided opinion big time, I thought. Now, I will say this. Since he's gone back to England this season, he must be commended for what he's been able to do at West Brom. He was only there at West Brom since hold on, let me show you. He was there since the 29th, which is the start of the season, right? So what I want to show you about the current season that's interesting to me is if you go back to the start of the season when he made the transfer, pretty much never got to play, right? He was there all through September, start of October. Then he came to play these 2 Nation League games for Jamaica, came on in Nicaragua late, and then started against Honduras, right? I think that's how it went. Let me make sure. I know the Nicaragua game came in. Yeah, he started in defense with Pinnock, right? I think these two games are kind of forgotten by him, to be honest. The first one, not really much because he just came on late to see out the victory. This second game, though, when we played Honduras, I don't hear people talk about this performance enough. I thought he was really good in this game, to be honest. But, you know, most people, when they talk about his Jamaica time, and it should be noted as well, after that window, when he went back to the championship, he pretty much started to play. I know there was an injury to the back line, which kind of got him in there. But he was able to really have some good performances. And then when he came back, he got that red card in the first leg of the Nations League against USA. And that was a really bad performance overall, to be honest. And that's pretty much the game that said, listen, don't bother come back. And that's what most people thought. Now, I don't know if the coaches were listening to the fans or what, but he never bother came back after that. So he continued to play in the championship though, which is what I really wanted to show, how consistent he became. Had some lean performances in our own goal here. Had a bad game in this Bournemouth game. I remember seeing that FA Cup game there. But look, all in all, I think he's been pretty consistent in the championship this year. And also, you know, even after players came back from injury, you know, the initial injuries that got him in the team, he was able to just hold on his place for the most part. Had some injury issues to end off the season. Plus, they pretty much played themselves out of contention. So the coach was doing some experimenting towards the end of the season with some lineups. So I'm not going to hold that against him in particular. But he's a player that wouldn't have played until since the 26th of April, right? I don't know if he has any kind of niggling injuries right now. I think that was a part of why he missed some games towards the end, so I'd have to do some more checks on that. But for me, because he's a player that divided opinion so much within the fan base, I think this opportunity, this tournament, him being close by in the country, has his paperwork. For me, it's a no-brainer. He's not in the playoffs. You know, hasn't kicked a ball since about the 18th of April, so has had a nice little stretch of time to recuperate. And I'm sure he as well would love to play in front of family in England, representing Jamaica too. So I think it's a no-brainer personally for this type of squad. You know, I also think it's a no-brainer when we pick the actual squad, but that's another day for another debate. But Mason Holgate, for me, gets into the Unity Cup squad, people. I would include him. I don't know if he has played enough with a lot of the players that we have. So another chance to play games with the teammates that he's going to be playing with potentially down the road. I'm for that, right? Mason Holgate, an experienced player in life, not experienced with the Reggae Boyz, but I think he's someone that can bring some form of leadership as well, you know, inside the dressing room and things of that nature. And yeah, I would be including him in this Unity Cup squad personally. Yes, I would. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that, but he's a player that's eligible. I think McLaren should go ahead and have a look at him again up close, see if he has, you know, sees anything different over this extended run of games with West Brom in the championship. You know, he's a lot more match fit than he was when we first saw him playing for us. So let's see what he can bring now. I would definitely be looking at him. He's 28 years of age. If we're going to get a cycle out of him at his peak, I would say it's this one. So let's see what he has to offer again. Remember CB being calling speed name over and over. So he said some things are knocking, so speed want to improve. It's simple. That is true. Miss playing in stadium that have fans. We're trying to test players to help us towards World Cup, not for them to play in front of their relatives. Yes, I'm just bringing up a point of another added point, that's all. But I think at the end of the day, Latibody and Holgate, to me, can help us qualify for the World Cup. So I would include both of those players. Joel is a leader, need those type of players in the locker room. Yep, calm head player. Rested and should be willing to play, absolutely. Hopefully Mason will be at the Unity Cup. We need to see more of him. Yeah, I agree. Is the JPL game on YouTube? I don't believe so, you know. I think it's going to be on Sportsmax app, which you can get in the App Store. Yeah, so and the game should be on there, no problem, I believe. I hope so, because that's how I plan to watch it. He scored a back heel. No one talk about it, but they talk about Dixon back heel pass. Yeah, that is true. Low brother. They said Holgate a low brother. Didn't McLaren want to call him, but it was said he was going to have surgery. Oh, you're talking about yeah, because he did mention Mason in that window. I think it was the March games when we were going to play. Not the was it March? Yeah, the March games when we were gonna play St. Vincent. And he in his press conference, he basically said like 6 or 7 players that aren't in it due to some injury or some other thing. And I don't think Mason was a surgery, was it? I think it was just like monitoring of something, and they didn't want to have any flare-ups or something like that. They asked if he could just not do that one. I don't know if it was a surgery though. I'm not sure. Because he didn't play the last 2 games of the season. He was on the bench second to last game and wasn't on the bench for the last game. So that's why I say I need to do some more checks. But as long as he's fit, I would call him. Yeah, something with his toe. Okay. Toenail injury or something. Yeah. I don't remember it requiring surgery. But even if they did a surgery for that, that shouldn't be a crazy recovery for a toenail surgery thing. Jason, I hope the 2 gentlemen can resolve their issues in a civil manner and a man not go so. Yo, that might go on still. Mason back to the EPL, then the 3 Lions might reconsider him. What say you? Oh, you're talking about the other Mason? No, I don't think the 3 Lions will reconsider Mr. Green. No, I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed, my bro. All right, so let's look back at the championship, people. Because, if you look on the team, let me know and say, well, go on. So went through Coventry. Now there's other players on Coventry, people, but I don't know if those players have any passport. So we're not going to go there, right? But boy, there's a few that I would like them to talk to, but I don't know. All right, so let's look through. So we have Sheffield Wednesday. We know we have a few ballers over that side. So let's look at the players that I know. So Deshaun, I think sad to say, these summer fixtures might come a little too soon for him. Was having a really good season before going down and having to do his surgery to end the season. Deshaun Bernard, CB, just due to injury, I'm going to say no. Obviously, we don't call him for the Unity Cup. And remember, this is just my thoughts on the Unity Cup, not after that. So we'll have to revisit and say, boy, maybe by Gold Cup, but I don't really know if he's even back on his feet as yet. So that's something that we'll have to do some more research on. But Deshaun Bernard, obviously long-term injury from back in February, basically. So yeah, don't think he'll be back in time. Had surgery, sure the rehab well underway. The other player that's on Sheffield Wednesday's team, people, is Jamal Lowe. And this is a player that has represented for us in the past, 30 years of age now. Every year before this year, always finds a way to get, 9-8 goals, somewhere around that mark. Had that 14-goal year in 2021, probably his most prolific over his career at Swansea. But this year was really a struggle for him. 4 goals in total and 2 assists, playing about half the games for his club. And, towards the end of the season, really was a struggle to even get on the pitch, of the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 league fixtures. He only saw the field in 4 of those fixtures. And, basically all of those were some kind of bench appearance, right? So, Jamal Lowe, somebody that I've always defended over the years as a player that should be getting picked based on what he was doing overseas. But I think this season it's quite clear that something is missing with him this year. I thought when you looked at the Sheffield Wednesday team, especially their forward players, I think that a really unformed and fit Jamal Lowe, should be able to get a lot more game time in this team. And he has had his problems this season, in and out with injuries and stuff of that nature. But look, I don't know, man. Jamal at this point, I just don't know. I don't know. I think with Jamal, I would have to sit down and ask him, like, Jamal, honestly, like this stage of your career, bro, like you really want to put in that extra time with a national team in all your off seasons and stuff. I see him doing a bit more work off the field. I saw him like being basically like a off-field voice for like Baller League, doing interviews and stuff. Like, is that not saying that he's ready to become a journalist or a commentator or an analyst, but clearly he's like thinking of what he can do down the road, and he's trying to figure all that stuff out. So I don't know if at this stage of his career he wants to continue to have that grind of the international football. I don't know. I just don't know, right? I have tried to tell people numerous times that some of the stories that they put out about him, sometimes I wonder how these players don't sue for defamation too, because some of the stuff that I hear about this guy is just not true, But not gonna get into all of that stuff, people. All I will say is, Jamal, you're my baller. You've been my baller. I've always defended you. But I think that right now we have some other options, especially if the passports are going through. Like, I think that we need to look at better age profiles, played more football, more informed currently. As I said, you haven't kicked a ball in anger since March 29th, and it's you haven't really gotten back to the bench. You were on the bench the last game of the season, a few games before that as well, but you were missing benches all through April, due to injury. So look, it's you haven't had the best time this season, and in the end, this is a national team, so we can't just look at your body of work and where you've been. We have to kind of live in the now. And living in the now, Jamal, I'm sorry, it's going to be tough for me to call you even for this Unity Cup team, because in the end, I want to pick players that I think are going to be able to help me throughout the summer. And I feel like once all the players that are available and, would have had their week or whatever break after their season end are available, I don't see you in the mix. Now, if you potentially played a different position in the team, I would say maybe. But due to you being a striker, left winger, and just due to the fact that I haven't seen any coach really play you as a striker for Jamaica, they always put you wide or somewhere in the midfield or the 10. And for me, those positions, I feel like we have other options right now better. So, yeah. I feel like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to say no altogether. I'm going to say like a 50-50 for the Unity Cup for Jamal, because in the end of the day, he does have his paperwork, which I think could determine a lot of these picks in this Unity Cup or not, I think he was talking about the other Mason, not Holgate. I think we have a lot of kids in England and overseas that can play for us. That pipeline not going to dry up anytime. We soon start get kids from Japan. Another player which I thought I had a lot of promise, but doesn't seem consistent enough. Yeah, we need players that levels don't sway so much. Yeah, that is true. Consistency. Bless up, love life, boss. Jamal Lowe, if you go sit on one side. Where's the squad? The squad not out yet. J-Lo is low in the pecking order right now. Yeah, I actually agree with that, football guru. But we take players in U21. Yeah, look, the argument is always Kaheem Dixon being there. It's always that argument. And it's a valid one. But I feel like even with that argument, we have other players younger than Jamal doing more than Kaheem that I would put ahead of Jamal right now. So, yeah, I agree though, Conrad. If the standard is that player, then Jamal Lowe in the team. But I'm trying to even erase that standard. I don't even want that to be the standard, so I don't even have to reference it. I'm just referencing Jamal versus the other players that I think should make it. And right now he's below them, just based on his output and what he's been doing. You know what I'm saying? Have to be honest. All right, so that's Jamal Lowe. Now let me go back to the championship again. And we're just gonna look at teams, and mans know the ball of them. So just remember them, which team them play for. So all right, so next on we have Pompey. So we know Isaac is there. Now this is another one, people, that I think you can see he's like a rejuvenated player due to his time with Jamaica. He seems to be very excited about representing. We've seen him make posts on his Instagram about, coming soon and JPL football and acting the federation. And so, yeah, I think he definitely would like to be there. I think he's been, decent enough in the championship. I think Portsmouth also realized that they got a player that maybe is not in the best of match fitness. A lot of his performances, he would be coming off in the second half. He started most of the games, though, that he played. and he definitely helped to, just get Portsmouth over the line, keep them in the championship for another season, and was consistently playing after his transfer as well. So you have to give the credit that he was able to, get into the team and do his thing once he made the move. So this was last season at QPR then. So when did he make the move? Okay, right there. So January. Yeah, so it's actually amazing that he was able to come and play. He played well in these 2 games, and literally wasn't playing no football. Then January, started to play. Pretty much as soon as he joined the team, started playing in the double pivot role, number 6 role, and basically was around all the time. Had a couple of games here and there. Was on the bench. I think he had a little niggle right here that he had to go sort out. Then he came, played for Jamaica twice, went back, and I think Portsmouth did the prudent thing. Sat him out for a couple of games. Definitely did a lot of running in these 2 games for Jamaica. And then once he got back in the lineup again, pretty much was in the lineup until the end of the season. So, consistent player. We've seen what he has been able to do with limited games in his legs. I'm looking forward to see what this summer looks like. Him getting to, Jamaican international summer where you have the World Cup qualifiers going into the Gold Cup, and I think he's excited about it. I think he's another one that, even though he hasn't been around the squad so long, I think he's another natural leader, good temperament, professional. I think most of the players who have worked with him, they all say the same thing about him. Just one of the nicest guys, really, truly professional, hard worker, first to arrive, last to leave. Just a good squad player to raise the standard of training, I think, just due to the fact that he's such a good professional, right? So Isaac Hayden, for me, we're going to bring a large contingent of players that are wide-eyed, looking to learn. The more players like Hayden, Latibo there that can be in this team, by all accounts, real good leaders and dressing room guys. I think that helps these guys that play with them to grow. We heard Warner Brown talking about some of the work ethic that he was exposed to when he was with the Jamaica team, playing with some of these guys. So, we can't discredit that experience gained with the players playing with them, There's no argument on why Dixon and Richards are part of Jamaica's senior squad for those who know football. All right, so Guru knows all, and those who don't agree with him don't know anything. All right, Guru. I guess that's why you're football guru. Charlton game soon start now. I hope one he'll back Dixon in team today and play. Don't think he'll be in it, The game is on Paramount. All right, nice. What do you think about Archie Brown from Ghent? Ooh, like him. Like him a lot. Like him a lot. So let's segue, people. Archie Brown. Because trust me, you see, if this show was like if this show was going to include players that I don't have like complete knowledge that they have passport, then brother, it could have been about a 10-hour show. Jamaicans are everywhere, bro. So Archie Brown playing for Ghent in the JPL Pro League. So we're done. Archie Brown. Yeah, Archie Brown, born in Birmingham, Derby Youth team. Contract till 2027. But yeah, he's been at Ghent since 2023. This past season started about half of the games. No, way more than that. All right, let's look at his season, people. So almost a 7 over the season. He's 6'3". Left-footed, does play left back. So we can always use help in those areas. The age profile is great. 22 years of age currently. And this season, this is what he did in the Pro League. 32 appearances with 30 starts. 1 goal, 3 assists over the season. Defending, you see his tackles, dribble pass, recoveries. Had 2 errors leading to shots. Didn't commit a penalty or have an error leading to a goal all season. That's good. And yeah, he's pretty much been consistently playing, right? Played 8 times in the Conference League as well, having a 7 over those games. So, definitely doing his thing in the Conference League with 2 goals and an assist in that competition. You can see here, only started 4 of those 8 games as well. Did make a team of the week over there too. So, Archie Brown, look, I don't know much about his level of recruitment currently, but definitely a player that, once you see a database of all the players, he's one that I've been looking at ever since he moved over to Ghent in 23. And he pretty much has been the starting left back since he got there. Good height on him, athletic player. I was happy when he went to Belgium because I think they do improve players technically, and I think that was the one thing that I saw. He looked like a very good athlete, but I was just wondering about his technical ability as a left back. Was he going to convert into a centre back because he's got the height? But he still plays out there on the left, and I think he has improved in terms of his technical ability since he's been there. I think it was a good move for his game set to go to Belgium, actually. And yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what his future is like because, we have seen a lot of these English players, one move back to the Prem and get to the right situation. Before you know it, Tuchel is looking at him and calling him up. Left back has not been a role that anybody has really solidified in that English national team. It's a bunch of kids there now. Miles Kelly, I think Nico O'Reilly, who we were once linked with at the youth level. He's probably going to get a call up soon based on how he's been playing. So, it's kind of an open area, that left back area. So if I'm an English guy, I don't know. Again, I don't know how far along any recruiting would have been done with Archie, but he definitely is eligible. Not eligible, but eligible to become a citizen and get a passport. And I don't know if that's something that is done already. I'll have to talk to all the passport guru them. But yeah, I saw the list of players, and apart from Lewis Baker and Greenwood, none of those players really improve us. Ooh. Well, I'll have to see the list and be the judge of that, Rob Smith. Or what list are you referring to? Is it a list that I can see, or you just saw a list because you are locked in and plugged into things? Gold Cup apply. Okay, so it ain't that list because there ain't no new list there. All right, so championship, we just check Archie Brown, but we're not sure about theme papers. Now, Hull have our next baller. That is one of ours. And the baller from Hull is Casey Palmer. Now, they have some other ones too that are potentially eligible, but we're just going to stick to the ones that we know. Now, Casey, I don't know. I think he'll look back at this season and probably think to himself, did I make the right move going to Hull to start out the season? At Coventry to start the season, he wasn't doing badly. I mean, he had contributed early in the season in some cup matches, even scored a goal in the league for them as well. And then basically right before the end of the window. I mean, it was crazy. He played a game on the 27th for Coventry, had an assist, and then on the 31st of August, he was playing for Hull. It was mad. But yeah, I think looking back, it started out decent with Hull, to be honest, after the international window with Jamaica came back, got a goal. But then, the typical Casey Palmer season things, little niggling injuries here and there. Kept him out for a while. He had a decent spell November, but I think once December time came around, the injury did happen right there before Christmas. Kept him out until early March, basically. And I don't think his season has really got back to any kind of level since that injury in December. But I do feel like, based on the position he plays in the team, bro, I am sorry. I am still calling Casey Palmer. And especially seeing that, towards the end of the season, he didn't have the most minutes after his injury. I think the coach should go ahead and put him in the Unity Cup squad as well. Because at the end of the day, informed Casey Palmer will always be in the squad for Jamaica currently with our current pool. So if we can play him into some kind of form with the Unity Cup, I think that would be better, right? And just having him wait to join up with the team in the World Cup qualifiers. Again, I don't think the strain is there as far as on the legs. He played 29 times in the championship, but the bulk of that would have been prior to December. He hasn't played that much since March when he returned. So I don't think that it will be like overexerting himself to play a couple of games in the Unity Cup. Can always come off the bench if you don't want to kill out his legs. But I think he needs to be there for the Unity Cup moving forward this year. 28, just like Holgate, I think, look, this is probably going to be the last cycle that he'll be able to contribute at a top level. So let's try to get the most out of him if that's the case. Not going to force him into the team if he plays the Unity Cup and just doesn't look up to it. He's one of those players that, I don't think he's a player that should be dropped. I think his skill set is good. I just don't think that we have utilized him to the best of his ability for Jamaica. I think whenever he's played a role closer to the goal, he usually plays better. But so often we are light in the deeper roles in midfield, and he's one of the guys that, probably just the coach puts him there and says, listen, just do a job for me here or do the best you can. And he surprised me sometimes with his tackling and things, but I think that takes away from his attacking game when he plays that role. I don't think he can do both in a game, honestly. If he gives his energy to the defending, then you're not going to see much of him going forward. If you let him just attack, and yes, he's still going to help out, but don't make defending like one of his primary roles, then I think you might get the best out of him. But let's see. I mean, Casey is somebody that I think would have to improve in CONCACAF. I still feel like sometimes he's too easily gotten off the ball or easily bounced off the ball. So hopefully he can realize, like, yo, these guys might even, I know you're in the championship, which is a rough, tough league and everything, but I think even in the championship, the players might get more, protection from the refs. CONCACAF is a madhouse, people. It's like rugby. It's very difficult to get cards and things like that, and just let a lot of things play. So I think he needs to realize that at this point. He's played enough in CONCACAF to realize it. I think his aggression is more than I see him in the championship. But I don't really think he's like an aggressive player by nature. So it's a big step for him. But hopefully he can realize that he's going to have to put out a little more aggression in this region, because it's a very aggressive region, and I think the championship is not how it was 10 years ago either. I think more teams are trying to play. It's less about just kicking up the ball down the field every 5 seconds, So, Casey Palmer for me, in the squad for Unity Cup for me. Enough of a time of a break, and I feel like he needs to play himself into some better form, so he might need the games. Let's see, Luton, definitely we have Amari Bell there. Now Amari is a player that definitely will be more if fit in both squads. I think, Amari right now is, has already bid his farewell to Luton after not renewing the contract. And this summer for him is kind of like a shop window. You know, he played 33 or 46 or 31 of the 46 games in the league. Had some injury problems earlier in the season. Picked up a niggle in October as well, but ended off the season relatively injury free. You know, playing all throughout the running. Right, we saw him play one game for Jamaica in March. Wasn't able to play the next game. So Latibody play left back for him in the second leg. But yeah, he has been pretty much, you know, in and around the team. Had some time that he did miss out towards the start of February. But other than that, has pretty much been around. And you know, early had a slower start to the season due to injury at the end of the year before. But once he came back in middle of August, pretty much been around since then. Did miss out October as well with an injury that he picked up right in the middle of September. So he had a couple of smaller injuries this year, you know, kind of cutting down his game time. That's why he played the 31 games out of the 46. But I think he ended off the year pretty much injury free. So that's a good sign. And, you know, with his season ending May 3rd, you know, I think that Amari probably will make himself available for the Unity Cup. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a potential so far. Let me look back at the league table again. So I have Plymouth, Luton, Hull, Preston. So there's a player at Derby who I know has a passport, but we need to look and see if you guys are okay with adding him in. I have some thoughts on the player, but you know, it's if we're basing it on output this season, I don't think if he's really done enough. But where is he? Okay, here we go. So Dejan Brown. So he's actually a striker. He's only 19 years of age now, people. 19 years of age. Where did it go? Sorry, people, man. I pull up something else. Come on, I see something else. Oh. So. So why this now open? There we go. 250K. I'm pretty sure this youth born in Jamaica too, you know. Oh no, I'm born in Nottingham. Somebody did tell me he was born in Jamaica one time. Lie than that too. So yeah, Dejan Brown. I think what's going against him is the appearances, right? So he's only played 15 times in the league, starting 3 of those. Did score a goal in his 15 appearances, but it just hasn't been consistent playing time enough for me. You know, hasn't played for the championship team since January. You know, has played some games in the PL2, National League Cup. He's under contract until 2027. But yeah, just for me, hasn't quite done enough. You know, young, definitely a prospect, but I think there's others if they have their papers as well. Yeah, it would be nice. Would be nice. But Dejan Brown, you know, I think even if you look at like, you know, that's this season. I think last year, I'm pretty sure they were in League One. And it was similar, you know, just what 2 appearances. Now this year in the championship, made 15 appearances for a total of 385 minutes. So not necessarily doing a whole bunch, right? Let me see if transfer market give me a little bit more. So yeah, he's only played one time. Yeah, 19 total appearances this season between the EFL Cup, FA Cup, and PL2. On the championship, he's been injured. Yeah, he's pretty much had an hamstring injury all season. So, since January. So yeah, even when he wasn't fit, he actually had a decent little run of games, like definitely playing. And then, so it looks like if he didn't have this hamstring injury, he would have had a decent output in terms of games played at least. But yeah, I think the injury is gonna be keeping him out of the team. But definitely one that I wanted to at least tell people that he exists. Dejan Brown. When you see his clips and his highlights and stuff, you say, damn, this dude looks like he could be a beast potentially. But he's had a little bit of unlucky with the he's had a little bit of unluckiness with his injuries and stuff. So just wanted to see him get a nice run of a season or even 2 seasons, just staying fit and getting his opportunities, because I think I see a lot of potential in the player. Hasn't realized it yet. That is true. But I see a lot of potential in the player. Dajan Brown, 19 years of age. I believe he already has a passport. I believe. But I don't know that for sure. But I think he does. All right. So let's move on now. That's Dajan Brown. Another player that is back in the championship this year is at Derby County. And that is Kamar Roof. Now, Kamar Roof, 32, he was in the last cycle trying to get us to the World Cup. Kind of in and out the team. Did only make 3 appearances in the championship after he joined Derby County 19th of February as a free agent after, his deal at Rangers ran out. And yeah, he basically didn't do much after his move in January. He made 3 appearances. They were back to back. Basically, played once in February, once in March. Didn't make another bench until April, so was out for that time frame. And then, I think he came on for like a minute or 2 in this game, like right at the death. 88th minute basically. So played 2 minutes plus the stoppage time in that last game, not long enough to even get a registered score, right? So based on how much he has played in the last year, I don't really see any argument to say Roof gets called back in. We know that he has talent. We know that he's a very technical player, good footballer all around. But yeah, I just don't know if he has the fitness to be playing international football. So Kamaru, for me, look, player that I think on his day, on his form, I think he makes the squad. But for me, people, no, I can't see myself putting Kamara back in the mix right now. Just not enough game time, not enough playing to warrant him coming back in. Let Simon know about him. Simon know about him already, man. Breaking news, Seban Wilson retires from professional football. What? Bro, she's had a lot of injury problems, man. So maybe, yeah, Conference League. Archie need to get his passport and show his interest. We have many ahead of him. Many? I don't know about many. We don't have that many left backs, do we? Don't mean to sidetrack you. No, man, it's all good, man. It's all good. That's actually crazy news, bro. Damn. Archie is solid. I would agree with that. What Conrad say? Okay, probably won't be until after the World Cup for Archie. Damn. After the World Cup or the qualifiers? Tyrese Campbell and the bunch. Yeah. Okay. Speaking to Coventry fan and that call Casey. 1 out of 5 gives you a good game. 1 in every 5. Damn. Casey, a very good player, but Jaja, I know fans and coaches get fed up with his playing for real. Should be looking to get a less injury-prone and more dependable player than Casey. Yeah, he does get a lot of injuries, man. Damn. Blessings. I know that they won't, but free up Ravel. Big up Adam. Yeah, but you and Conrad. You and Conrad run that church there. Which fans the ones that thinks one turn better than him? Most of our players are either bench warmers or fighting relegation. That's not good. It is what it is, bro. There are players, so we have to call them and look at them. One Ravel, Jason, I know you watch some of his clips. Yeah, man, I get all the clips. Them. Don't get to see full games, but I get his clips. That's right. KC looks much better going forward than on the defensive side. Yeah, it's a fact. KC Palmer is not it. Sorry, I've seen enough to know he doesn't have what it takes. KC seems lazy. Talented but lazy, said Conrad. KC has had maybe one decent game for Jamaica. The lower leagues in England is rougher it gets, and the more the midfield is bypassed, KC is going to get worse in League One. Yeah, he need to go to the Prem the way how him play. I'm like for not ball more than anything. Archie Brown, yeah man, Archie Brown. Oh, Dajan Brown. That's his name, Dajan Brown. Greg might be ahead of it at this point. Feel like Neil lost a step, maybe injuries. While Ball seem to be getting better. Bell seem to be getting better. Yeah. You know them okay as long as them born in England. Rob Smith never going to stop saying that, you know, but from your born in England, you're a baller. Conrad Smith, I hear people on YouTube saying he's this technical midfield general. I'm thinking Casey must have a twin. He played in a bigger league than our JPL. We're not to give him a chance, Jason. That is true. That is true. If you're talking about Brown, but I mean, I still want to see him do more though, even though I'm in a better league. Bless up Tycoon, what go on? Barca about what? 2 hours away from making it official. Brown had a number of cameos and cup appearances last season. Yeah, last season was better for him. Not this one. Them say a Maggie why Casey looks so poor, although they only played together maybe once or twice. No, I know Maggie alone. No matter who, he's just not good in the six. And I play double pivot all the time. How much out of the game them Casey play, how much of them him play double pivot, you know? And the one performance game I talk about, I bet is the game against Cuba when he play high up the park. He played too much to be in our team, Jason. He played too much. Of their agendas. They're not interested in being objective. How is Maggie to blame for Casey's poor performance? Yeah, I wouldn't blame Maggie himself personally. I just feel like you could have put Kante there. Him not go play him best because that's not where he play. Andre Brook, Sheffield United. Yes, that's one that I have left out because of the playoff. Because I think Sheffield are going to win them next game. And that game is like right in that Unity Cup week. So I don't think he'd be available, you know? And I don't know if Andre Brooks has a passport either. I'm not saying Maggie is the answer, but McLaren decided to give Maggie a chance because Casey Palmer was so poor. No, I think that window Casey was actually injured, you know. That's why Maggie even got looked at. Because remember, Casey played the first window with Nicaragua them, and then I don't think he was there for the next window after that. What about the CB at Juve and the one at Atalanta? Yeah, I heard about the players, you know. But which CB at the Juve you're talking though? I know the Atalanta one. Juve? I learned something today. Thought I know about all these players. Juve, bro? Which player from Juve you talk? Oh, Lloyd Kelly. Yeah, I think Lloyd Kelly thing is like a madness, bro. I think Lloyd Kelly thing is a madness. I don't know if that's going to work out. Atalanta. Yeah, I think this one. I forgot Lloyd Kelly was over there on loan. Oh, yeah, talk about the brother where did play. A brother did play against Arsenal, you know, man. Pretty sure. If I had a brother here, I'm not talk. It all say on transfer market it say Dejan Brown is literally wait name there, you know. A Jamaican citizen, you know. But I don't know if this is it can't be this brother. Is it brother from Atalanta or is not Atalanta? The wrong side name I call. Cause I don't think that brother can play for Jamaica, you know. Cause I also think that him already playing for Sweden, so can't be him. Yeah, him have 19 caps, so it can't be him. So which player am I talk about from Atalanta? Or I think I have the team wrong, you know. I'm not Atalanta the ball I play for. Some of them ball I would like to take from Atalanta, but none of them not Jamaican. Who are best goal scorer? Roof? I don't think Roof want to come back. Last time he was here, he got an injury. Yeah, true. Yeah, I figured you were talking about Lee. Regarding your daughter, have you inquired or know the process to get her in the JFF pipeline? I'm interested in getting that started for my daughter. Well, Charles Brahma, honestly, the best thing is just make sure that you get the paperwork for your daughter, because that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. But if you really and truly want to know, just link me off here, and I can at least point you to the right people. Casey work rate too low unless we only want to play him for 10-20 minutes max, maybe a closer. Yeah. Skill set off the bench, maybe. 6 months to go. I think Amari Bell, Lee, Latimer, Bell, and Gray are enough to take us through the next 6 months. They're integrated with their teammates, no late opportunists. Yeah, look, I think if we can get them in, even if it's before like the last qualifying cycle, like the September, October, November, I wouldn't really consider those people to be opportunists per se. So I just feel like let's try to give those players competition at this point. I agree that we don't need to get players that are fringe players at best. You know, we should try to be getting players competition at this point. You know, that would be my aim. Oh yeah, he was talking about Ben Godfrey. Yeah, he's at Ipswich. Maggie was calling the same window with Casey. We played Nicaragua and Honduras. That is true. Because it was the Nicaragua game that everybody was like, Maggie's a god. And then Honduras game, he wasn't as good. Yeah, Godfrey, you're talking. Yeah, you're talking Godfrey. Come here, me looking at that Atalanta team, and I said, brother, these people can't play for Jamaica. Archie plays a high level, and all of them. Isn't that what we switch? Yeah, that's why I don't understand the thing about Archie. Like if he gets his passport, as you say, Guru. I'm not saying that automatically he starts, but clearly he's in the pool. You know, he can threaten to take John Bell start or Greg Lee start or whoever you think start. Yeah, he's a good addition to the pool because he potentially is better than them. That's all we want. We want competition. All right, let me go back to the champ. Because there are some League One players, obviously, that would be in this mix. So we did Preston, Derby. So we have Oxford, Greg Lee. But the thing with Greg is, how fit is he? I think he did get back fit towards the end of the season, though. Let's double check, make sure. There's a lot of players, people. Yeah, he scored on the last day. So he's pretty much good all through. Basically came back in April. Or middle of April. And played right up till the end. So he's back fit. I think, Greg has always proven when available, he's ready to go. So I would say Greg Lee in the Unity Cup. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 6 players in the Unity Cup squad already, all championship level. The other player that pretty much, it's no longer a big secret, back at Stoke again. And that is Lewis Baker. So Lewis Baker is 30 years of age. This season, made 31 appearances in the championship and did so for a couple of teams. He went to Blackburn on loan for the first part of the season and then came back to Stoke to finish off the season. So between Blackburn and Stoke, made 23 appearances in total. 32 appearances in total. 23 of those were starts. Did make a team of the week, playing about 65 minutes per game. Had 7 goals on the season. Definitely a free kick specialist, corner, set pieces. Did score a free kick goal this season as well. And had 2 assists. So 7 goals, 2 assists, not bad. Definitely what you call a box-to-box midfielder, I would say. Defensively, not bad. 3 ball recoveries per game, not terrible. Gets himself about decent enough. I think for me, the one thing is, we have quite a few midfielders who maybe we want them to give us more off the ball. I don't know if Lewis Baker is the total answer to that. I think he does have a better work rate than some others we've had in the past. But yeah, I think he helps us with dead balls for sure. Very good delivery from wide areas, set pieces themselves, scoring direct from free kicks. He'll add that dimension to us. But yeah, I think Lewis Baker, look, it's time now. He's 30 years of age. There's probably not much more World Cup cycles for him to go through. So, depending on how he keeps his body, of course, maybe he can play more. But the thing that I loved about this season for Lewis was a lot of the seasons before this, since I've been tracking him, there's a lot of injury niggles and time out of the game. Didn't really see that much this year. 32 games out of a possible 46. Most of those games, would have been around the time when he would have made his move and not made his move. Not so much about him just not being fit enough to play games, right? So I just like the fact that he was able to play the majority of this season injury-free, had a good close to the season. And, with him not really being a part of any teams before this, I would say if he does have his passport and everything is ready, I would also put him in the Unity Cup squad. So we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all out of the championship players, right? Let me just look back at the list one more time and just make sure that I'm not overlooking somebody. I also go to the comment section and double check as well. Some players that could be deemed as left out. Sheffield United, Andre Brooks is one for sure. I don't know the issue or status. I don't even know if he's looking about it. But he's a player that I think could play for Jamaica. I would probably call him if he had paperwork, right? Other than that, I think I went through all the teams: Portsmouth, Oxford, Stoke, Derby, Preston, Hull, Luton. We got Amari. I don't remember off the top of my head. No, there's others, of course, that are, been talked about. Ethan Laird is one that comes to mind. Look, I'm going to just limit this to those that I pretty much know are getting the paperwork done. I haven't heard anything about that particular one, so I don't think so. I don't know if we've approached Jaden, but we should. Casey need to go down more in the league, maybe get better in Jamaican's eyes, play rougher. Bless up, Marlon. Me did try to link you earlier, Marlon. Me want to ask you something, but she said, no, say you're probably busy still. Yeah. She said you doesn't respond. Big up yourself, same way. I should have shouted from yesterday still. Yeah, Greg well fit. That is true. Lee playing regular in the last month. He is. What about goalkeeper position? I don't really see any goalkeepers on the horizon in terms of like dual nationals. I think the goalkeepers will still be the same. I think Corey had a brilliant season again, but I don't know the issue with him. last I checked, he just never really got everything over the line. So, yeah, but I mean, is it too late? Would this summer window be too late though? I don't even think September is too late, bro. To be honest, and it's not like there will never be a case, Guru, where we get 23 new players and we call all of them. You know, we're talking 2, 3 added to the core of 17 or whatever. So that can't hurt. Greg is a beast. Dexter look at Wolves after his loan end at Barnsley. Yep. Matter of fact, it's another one too. Dexter. No, he's not really in the champ right now, but he's another one that can come to this Unity Cup. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're up to 8. Rob said, a bit skeptical about the League One players. We saw Clark Harris tear up League One and nothing in Championship. Crowell tear up League One, nothing in Championship. We have attackers that play in better league. Yeah, that's true. But I think the problem with this Unity Cup, Rob, is like, all right, Norman Campbell better than a lot of them League One attackers, I would agree. But Norman Campbell's season done the 25th. You know, I mean, is it realistic to call him for a game on the 27th? I don't think so, you know. So I'm trying to find the players that just make sense logistically, right? Bogle is okay. He's a part of our database. He won't be ready, all right? So Bogle, database, but not quite ready yet. Lewis' name is a good shout, though. But we expect the players to make it in England. Nelson, he will improve the backline so much. So Baker did all, yeah, man, 30. Brother, I'm from last cycle, you know, when he was 25, you know, mas. Me watch him and I try to see where I'm going with, you know. McNeil is my first choice. Yo, McNeil, jeez and peas, McNeil. Oh, not McNeil. I thought about, all right, Bogle, your first choice. Sometimes you have to protect players. Greg give his all for JA. I would not mind if he gets a rest. Greg is old and should get some rest before the next international window. Yeah, look, I think, I don't know, man. I could see that argument. But I just feel like he'll want to play. So I would let him. I mean, I just wouldn't play in both games. You know, play him in one, rest him for the other one. I really hope we get that player this year. It's a very complicated situation. Jonathan Rowe, another one. See, I think Jonathan Rowe, for me, I wouldn't even put him in the Uni Cup team. Because Jonathan Rowe play for Marseille, right? So Marseille, okay, them have a week. So it's possible. So them have one less game than everywhere else. One less weekend. So you can go on, you know, people. Jonathan Rowe, you know, man. But I call him for Unity Cup, yes? I would call Jonathan Rowe for the Unity Cup. Yes, I would. I think he's going back to... Oh, no, they made it official. They're buying him for 14.5. Damn. So he's going to stay at Marseille. That's nice. I was hoping he'll never go back to Norwich, you know. Only 22. So, yeah, Rowe, I'm calling you, my guy. My boy, you're getting in this team, you know. This Unity Cup team. See what you can go on with in the tournament, yeah. So, Rowe, and of course, Mason. We don't know if it will be over the line, but I'm going to put an asterisk by both of these ballers because I would say put both of them in there. Give the fans some excitement, you know. I wonder if they would keep Greenwood out of the Unity Cup due to the fact that he's playing in England, though, just to kind of shield him, you know. I think they would still. So Guru agree with me on the Rowe part. Say if him having passport and McLaren considering him, I would call him. They're saying Rowe has to sort out his club career, but isn't Rowe's club career sorted, Marlon? Isn't it already set that Marseille is going to purchase him at the end of the loan deal for 14.5 million. At least that's what this is saying here. I know it's not set. I know it's not set in stone, but 14.5 million euros. You know, because the loan's supposed to end the end of the month, and then Marseille look like them buy him, like they're gonna make it permanent. So what is there to sort? I mean, it say contract up, but it also saying that in contract, you know, that he'll be bought on that day. So basically good. So what you referring to exactly, Marlon? Let me know. All right, so let's see. Yeah, July 1st, upcoming transfer. So I guess the only thing need to sort is the contract situation because they're buying him. Yeah, but them thing done this weekend. Leeds eyeing him. Okay, don't think Mason wants to play for an English crowd, as you say. Yeah, that's why I was like, for Unity Cup, nah. Even if he was ready, I don't think they'd do that to him. They have to purchase Rowe because he made more than 20 appearances. So it's a clause in the contract forced to buy. Okay. Well, they might just be executing that to ship him still. So maybe you're right. Maybe they don't really have plans to keep him, but them say, okay, we'll still honor the investment, do the 14, and then try to make a profit on the 14 now. Well, them value at 12 mil. So let's see what them can get for him. If I was him, I would stay and try to get into the team more. Because I would think that Marseille gonna sell players this summer. So you could see his influence grow, you know. Mason played a masterful game to qualify them. A beautiful strike. We need his electricity. Man, a baller. Permanent at Marseille. They gave him a contract. His club situation. Oh, so it is permanent. Yeah, because I mean, transfer market don't have the contract situation up as yet. But let me go to the other side to look at for contracts. Because I'm not seeing anywhere with his Marseille contract. Just seeing that they have triggered the well, it was automatic triggering basically. Loan deal obligation, option to purchase Rowe was mandatory, meaning they were obligated to buy him for a fee, regardless of whether they want to keep him or not. This means that Rowe's loan deal became a permanent transfer. Okay. Norwich City have a sell-on clause in the deal. England under 23 winger. Yeah, man, but if I'm Jonathan Rowe, I don't want to leave Marseille. I want to stay and play Champions League, and yeah, I wouldn't be in no rush to leave Marseille right now, personally. So yeah, I'm not sure what kind of thing need to start for real. We say in favor of Flemo. As long as it don't say Flemo, because the people them hate Flemo, brother. The quicker the England under 21 team is named for Euro under 21, hopefully he's included in that squad. He will be here. Okay. Why they don't actually make the under 21 be under 21? Why them always have 22-year-old playing on them thing there? It don't make no sense to me. Jonathan's signed jersey is more expensive than Greenwood own. Really? How can that be so? Leeds wanted him before Solomon reached. He played under Farke at Norwich. Well, I'm sure Leeds fans not upset because Solomon had a rotted season. BM, leave the crack pipe alone, please. Casey Palmer is on another level compared to Maggie. To PM. That Mason goal last game was a rocket. All right, we're about 10 minutes from Charlton kickoff, people. So that me really happy right now. Go watch them game there. As I said, people, later tonight we'll be back for the second game in the doubleheader. To me, the more exciting one, Montego Bay versus Mt Pleasant. I think both games will be good, but just really quickly before I go away, my predictions for tonight's semifinals, people, you can drop yours in the comment section. Definitely the first game, Arnett versus Cavalier. I think the dreaded. You know what? I was gonna say that Arnett being a little bit rusty going to cost them, but I feel like it might actually be the opposite. I think Arnett freshness going to help them in the first game, and I'm gonna say Arnett going to the second leg leading. So I'm gonna say that game will end 2-1 to Arnett, right? 2-1 to Arnett in the first game, and in the second game, people, I think Mount Pleasant is obviously the best team, right? They proved it over the season. I just think that the Catherine Hall atmosphere, the crowd, I think Mount Pleasant fans will travel, so it won't be a one-sided in that stadium. I hope they have enough seats for this thing, man. Personally, man, I don't know if the place is big enough because people definitely go into this game. And the Arnett fans travel as well, so it's gonna be tough. Hopefully they are prepared security-wise and everything. Hopefully. But yeah, I'm gonna say Arnett 2-1. I'm gonna say Montego Bay and Mt Pleasant leave it all to play for 1-1. Yeah, I'm gonna say 1-1. So 2-1 Arnett. 2-1 Arnett is what I'm going for. 2-1 Junglis. First leg. And the second legs will be Sunday. So, we'll return. I'll probably do one of those games in the second leg as well. A live watch along for those. So 2-1 Arnett, and I'm gonna say 1-1 in the Battle of Montego Bay versus St. Anne. So yeah, that's my prediction for the first legs. So we'll see how right I am. Should be good games. What you'll see is two teams playing some ugly long balls. Good luck to Charlton. Hope Anderson starts, the only player in Charlton with international ball sense. Jason Gooner, I didn't know the stadium. Bro, I don't know either, Marlon. And my problem, is like they would have to run out the Arnett fans them after their game, which they might want to leave and go drive home still. I don't know. But if they man they stay, there's no way the Mobe and the Mount Pleasant people them can fit. I mean, no Mount Pleasant fans going to be there from the first game start. So we just don't know where to go, brother. What might end up happening is Mobe fans who live in Mobe and go into the second game alone. Them man, they might get stuck out the door because I feel like Mount Pleasant through them a travel, probably leave early and make sure them did it. So them probably in the stadium from the first game I play. Because I know Mount Pleasant fans, when them did their Sabina last year and they were playing the second game, all in the first game you see them filling up the place. So I know how their fans move in terms of traveling. So the Mobe fans, because they're maybe local, maybe them just go a little later, like even halftime or second half of the first game, and then I'm going to see the place ram, and then how that go now? You're going to tell the Mobe fans who dare to watch Mobe, then there's no more space. Like, I just pray that they don't have nothing like that reach them and everybody can get in, I know one of the stands not functional, but hopefully they've been trying to fix that stand for this because they're going to need all that, I think. Listed in the bench for Charlton, okay. Yeah, let me look at the starting lineup real quick. Conrad did want to know if Dixon on the team today. So let's see. So here that Anderson bench, which probably to be expected. He hasn't been starting so much in the run into these playoffs. Tyrese Campbell starts, Thierry Small starts on the wings. This kid Kane Ramsey. Where Kane Ramsey forward from? the right back will play for them. But team is a yard man too, or Caribbean somewhere. But yeah, bench for Charlton. Let's see. Karoy Anderson is there. Kanu, Chuksaneke, and Micah Mbik again. So Chuks, a old man, him a 31. But this guy to me is the one that does take the game from Mr. Dixon, bro. Micah Mbik, 18 years of age, and get the same chance. Basically coming to the team right when Dixon got his chance the other day. But he has stayed, and Dixon gone back to the U21. So Micah, like them rate Micah a little bit more, them think him reach a little further. So that's really the spot that I see Dixon would have had, if he could have gotten past this Micah guy. Daniel Kanu, I mean, I guess you could say him too, but he's more of like a striker. I don't really see them play. Well, he play wide too sometimes, but Kanu kind of been more involved, the 20-year-old. But Mbik is the one that really come out of nowhere to get this game, and kind of Nathan Jones just keep him around the first team since, So good luck to Charlton. They're playing Wickham. Let me see if our boy McCleary is starting this game. The other man forward on in the last game, man. And it's even make Wickham start do anything in the game, So yeah, me know, man. Me know the coach would have starting this time, So Garrett McCleary is starting this time. He's like 37 people, but trust me, this man is keeping himself in good shape. I'm still a run upon them. And to be honest, the game was really dead. And then, he came on and caused a bit of things in the second half for them. And then Charlton was able to end off the game a little bit stronger. But as Guru said, it was not the biggest spectacle football-wise. It was very cagey, teams, kind of playing it safe, going along. So yeah, I agree with you there. It wasn't the greatest spectacle of football. But I think at home, Charlton will try to play some more football, and it won't be as bad, to be honest. I think Wickham know, they had to go into this second leg at least draw, So let's see. Yeah, but remember, players that are 22 and stuff playing these competitions, man. Gold Cup against Panama only live 45 minutes from that stadium. Mad. Yo, Joseph, if you do get the tickets, bro, just make sure you get some footage from the day, Some picture and thing. Yeah, man. They're buying him no blue shirts, LOL. Listen, no blue shirt in that crowd. Yeah, me hear T-God say, yo, wearing the colors, red and green alone, Yeah, small. Me know say small Ramsey. Me know say Ramsey would have be one, brother. Me know Lieberman already. I know small already. But me just never sure about Ramsey. Watson too? Okay. I don't see Dixon yet. Dixon not there. You have to hit the gym. Lee Young, Rowe is 22, but they can use 3 players at 22 years old and 3 to 6, 22. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't know why them call it U21 and still have player older always a play. That makes no sense. Charlton played defensively first leg. This one going to be penalties, I think. I hope them don't have to go through the madness of penalties. I think Charlton win in regular time, man. I think Charlton in front of them fans, man. They've been really tough to beat at home as well throughout most of the season. So I just feel like them will get it over the line in regular time. But, you never know still. I'm going to go watch it still. Anyway, people, respect for the support. Had a nice turnout for today's show. Talked some football today. Got most of the topics out of the way. Touched on the JPL semifinal real quickly. We'll be back to do that later. Did some farm check basically for mostly the championship players. I was able to source about 7 or 8 players just from the championship. So when we continue this next week, which is the 22nd or the 21st, somewhere around there, I will be able to continue, move on to other leagues as well. Because mainly I want to show, if we're being serious about this and trying to put out the best players, not all the players that we would choose would actually be in all the squads, which is what I've heard most people having a problem with. We don't want to overdo it with the players. I think, though, there's enough fringe players who haven't been called yet or aren't regulars in our squads that this is a great opportunity to look at them in and amongst some of the JPL talent as well. All right, so let's do it. Oh gosh, El Meeks, man, don't remind me, bro. I think we get it done in game 6, though. El Meeks, have some faith, bro. Game 6, brother. The Boston was just due for a mad shooting performance, bro. And look what the man them shoot yesterday. They won't shoot like that every time. That's the only way they can beat us like that, you know. If them just mash up 3-point percentage is mad, you know. Who they talking about, Jason? About a Jamaican? I'm not sure who them are talking about, you know. Well, say Garrett McCleary can get the next call. Well, I tell you, the first leg, the man I play like him possess. When him come on, the man I run upon them. I say, yo. Oh yeah, them have to talk about McCleary, bro. Them have to talk about him. It's a mad story. How the man still a play at the level where him play. Come here, tell you the man come on, bro, and look like Wickham best player by far at his age. It's like, and told the man play, the coach have to start him that leg, yeah. That may I tell you. All right, people, but I'm sure just do a watch along for that game, you know, star. But it's all right. I say JSY, I do one, so I love it. I forward later though for the Mount Pleasant Mobile game for sure. I'll be no, we're not doing the watch along for this. What's fake news? I didn't say anything fake about the guy. I said he got his chance around the same time this year. That's all I said. It was when they had those injuries to their forward line is when MB got a chance, which is that's not a fact. Look at his game time for the first team. Oh, I know why you're saying this, Guru. Because JD said it on his program, so I know there's like a disconnect. You know, you're not allowed. I'm not allowed to say anything JD said because I'm just being a puppet. All right. I understand, Guru. Yeah, so 12, he got his first chance around December, then April again, and then him play the last 2 games of the season too. So yeah, I mean, around the same time. Dixon actually played 1 less game in the league. One, two, and then so I'm getting first chance in October, and then get a next chance in this in late March, and then the next one in April again. Yeah. But yeah, Embiid been there from, see him not even listed in the first team. That's the crazy thing. He's actually a U21 player. But Dixon listed on this one. And nothing more than a Jamaican man put that in, so you know, man. I don't know how him not just laying at the U21 with this brother. Because that's where him is most of the time. You know, I'm getting all scoring at the FA Cup last season. And get a whole heap of chance last season. Let me see, 23-24. I'm only play 2 times. Play 4 times this year. Anyway, the game kick off, people. I'm not arguing with nobody. Go big up yourself, man. Stop worrying me every time, brother. Stop it. Chop. Man barely get chance last year. Barely. Man play 2 games and play FA Cup early. Yeah, okay. Yeah, my 37 or 38. Yeah. Supposed to be couple hours it confirmed. Yeah, man, I joke my run, man. Him can't forward again, man. I joke my run. Sometimes hype plays a factor too. Burnley fans blame their coach for picking Dane Richards. And one even called him a dwarf. Jeez. We say we can't drop the ball upon Tyrese. Can go up to the champ, that's true. Stop the fake news and JD foolishness. Guru, tap it, man. Lord JD, brother. Lord JD, man. JD no trouble, none at all. So stop troubling, man. Anyway, big up on yourself, people. I'm gonna go take a little break. Julie have tryouts for the next season today. Well, I think I forget what it's called, but yeah, she wanna go because it's like an optional thing where you don't know Julie not taking a day off. So we're gonna head out to that. So I'm gonna get up on the road for the first game, but I'll once I forward back to the house and I eat something, nourish myself and thing, I will jump on the stream, try to start at least a half an hour before the game kick off, so I can do a nice little build up, starting lineups and stuff like that. And I'll be here to do the live watch along of the Mount Pleasant and Montego Bay Utd first leg semifinal. All right, people, big up and thanks again for the support. Big up to everybody in the building. Remember, you guys can always watch back the program. I try to have it set up in a way where it made sense for the watch back. So the first part of the show, we basically discussed the whole lawsuit situation, whether it's going to be the death of opinions on YouTube based on what happens in this trial. Then we moved into how the Reggae Boyz is going to navigate this whole summer. We looked at the form of some players in the championship that could potentially be called up for the Unity Cup. We pretty much realized that we have quite a few players in the championship that are available and have stopped playing early enough to play in the Unity Cup as well. Got to about 7 or 8 of those players. Didn't quite get to League One, but we know we have some more there. And we're going to look around Europe as well the next time we talk about this, which is next week. Also, I didn't mention it in today's show, but we should have a provisional squad for the Gold Cup coming out any day now. Usually by 30 days before the first match of the tournament, teams will have had to put those lists into CONCACAF. CONCACAF usually puts that out within the next couple of days. So I would expect people on CONCACAF's website shortly or tomorrow, the next day, sometime soon, we will see that provisional squad. Once that drops, I will do some kind of show just talking about those names and actually looking into who these players are, what they've been up to. Most of them, we've been following all this time, but once we actually see the names, it's going to be really nice to see. What we can get from that list, because I do believe that the World Cup qualifying squad will be coming out of that list as well. If they're in the provisional for the Gold Cup, I would think they're in the thought process and the mind of the coach for the actual World Cup qualifiers, right? That was pretty much it. And then to close the show, we did discuss really quickly my picks for the 2 semifinal first legs tonight. All right, people. But again, thanks so much for the support. Thanks for all the comments in the comment section. Definitely. If you saw anything in the program that you have an opinion on, please do feel free to share it in the comment section. I will continue the conversation there. All right, people. But again, as we do at the end of any program on this channel, we say these words. I am Jason Gooner. This is Gooner TV. And it ain't come on you Gooners today. Come on, Jamaica Football Federation and Jamaica Football. Do the right thing and stop the foolishness. Big up on yourself and thanks again for the support. Bless.